That's it. I think we are live.
All right. We are live. Okie dokie. Ready to start?
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to episode 344 of the UK Steelers podcast. You're joined once again in our draft journey by me, Mark Hanson. Audioless with the theme tune this week, but I'm sure I will snip that in post-recording. But it's just a two-man show this week, just joined by one Mr. Gavin Marshall. How are we doing, Gav?
Not too bad at all, not too bad. Bit busy, bit rushed off my feet, trying to watch as many linebackers for this as I could, but yeah, not too bad.
No, good. And as always now, we're live on the YouTube. Hopefully got the gremlins sorted out so that we can stick around on the show this week. But if you're already in the YouTube chat, hello. And I'm just going to jump in there myself now, actually, and just see what's cracking off in the chat there, so we don't miss anything. But I know you're monitoring it as well, Gav.
Yeah.
As Gav said, we're looking at the inside linebackers this week for the show. But first and foremost, obviously, if you want to stick a couple of quid over to us at patreon.com/UK Steelers podcast, as our lovely show producers have this month. Jason Bowdler, Rob Ferguson, Teenage Mutant Ninja Dave Hart, Glenn Jones, Matt Audley, Steve Williams, Ian Ferrugia, Christian Robb, Thomas Fielding, Joe Pearson, our resident food correspondent Christopher Anderson, Philip Williams, Laura Casey, Michael Coonahan, Paul Fielden, the obscenely handsome Lee Matthews, and the Aussie Storm Galileo West.
Thanks to those wonderful producers.
How are you, Mark? I didn't ask how you are.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm gearing up now. It's only a week and a day we go to London, and then week and 2 days we get on that plane and we're off to Pittsburgh. So yeah, it's just getting ready for that now, down the home stretch.
Must be getting excited. What's your itinerary? Where are you staying? Tell us more.
Very, very excited. So yeah, we're staying just outside in the Shadyside neighborhood of Pittsburgh. So yeah, I don't know. The itinerary's a little bit loose because obviously it's very strict come Thursday. That is, draft. And, fingers crossed, might have some exciting news about that. I don't want to say it on the pod just yet, but may have some exciting news in the pipeline regarding the draft. So watch this space potentially. But before that, yeah, we haven't really got much in terms of itinerary. We're just going to do, the Monday will be the big kind of traveling around Pittsburgh, seeing all the sites. Hopefully it won't be as busy as it's planning to be. Apparently there's going to be around 800,000 people descending onto Pittsburgh, nearly triple the population of Pittsburgh. So I imagine come Thursday it's going to be, a bit chaotic, but hopefully a little bit quieter on the Monday. And yeah, we're just going to do the usual sights and sounds. I think the Heinz Museum is on the list to look at there. Find some Warhol stuff certainly, and obviously grab ourselves a bit of a Primonti as well. That's got to be done. So yeah, bit of a loose itinerary, but certainly we're excited for it, and certainly excited to see the draft goings on as well. It's going to be a very interesting atmosphere.
Is Kathy primed for all 3 days of the draft? Does she know that's happening? Like, is she going to?
Yeah, she does. She's well aware of that. Yeah.
Just checking.
Good love her
it's like
for
a
doing
one-day event. No. And the day 3, obviously. If you don't get on TV for day 3, I think we'll all be disappointed. So you need to make that happen.
Well, I'll try. I'll certainly try. Fingers crossed. But and then obviously, we're back. Leave on the next day on the Sunday, but not too late. So a little bit more time in what is apparently a lovely neighbourhood out in Shadyside. So anybody listening to the pod who is also going, I know. I think there's one other gentleman in the Facebook group who I believe is going out there, and I've had a couple of offers on Twitter for grabbing beers out there. So yeah, if you're listening to the pod, please give me a shout. We'll try and meet up. I'd love to meet up with as many people as possible. The one thing I can say about that is we are going to a happy hour on the 22nd, so the day before the draft, which is organised by Steelers Unite, who, as podcast listeners will know, is the fan club group operation for the Steelers that kindly let our fan club into their group. So going to be meeting other Steelers fan clubs from around the country, potentially around the world, and I'm really, really excited for that. So I know that for sure is happening. So yeah, that's one thing locked in on the itinerary, certainly.
Exciting. Are you taking a spare suitcase for all the merch that you're going to be bringing back for everyone?
I should really, shouldn't I? To be fair, I don't fill out my suitcases nearly enough anyway, and I've got a new suitcase as well. So I'm going to be probably traveling light as I tend to do. So there'll probably be plenty of space for if somebody wants me to grab anything for them. Just give me a shout. I'll certainly try my best to get that sorted for you if there's anything in particular. The only thing I'm looking for when I get out there, funnily enough, isn't even NFL merch related. I'm looking for a Pittsburgh Riverhounds soccer jersey when I'm out there.
Niche.
Reigning champion of their league, the Riverhounds. So yeah, really want to grab a jersey and support them as well because football's in my good books at the moment as well with Southampton. So yeah, I'll ride that while it lasts. Anyway, Mr. Gavin, you know what, Gav? Did I sort of asked you how you were, but any way to expunge on that? Are you excited for the draft yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, luckily I've got the Thursday and Friday off work, so perfect.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, it's worked out perfectly. So yeah, very excited. I'll be doing a lot of mark spotting. I think that would be my main thing. That's going to be a new added element. Really, it is. Like every shot of the crowd, I'm going to be looking for that Benton jersey.
I feel like I've got to wear the Where's Wally outfit now, just to just to really cap it off for you. But yeah, with the draft being a little bit shorter as well, going down from 10 minutes to 8 minutes a pick, you won't have to stay up as late either. So that's
right.
That's.
I think that's a wise move. That 10-minute clock, who needs that? It's been too long, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota maybe need it. They might get haunted from years past, but otherwise, yeah, no, it's absolutely the right move. And yeah, obviously, sod's law, the draft I go to, they want to make that as quick as possible. But but yeah, so there's not been a lot of news in Steelers land as of late. It's just the 30 visits that have been going on, and I believe we've got up to 26 now of our top 30 visits. I'm just going to reel them off for you here, Gav. I know we've spoken about a few, but now that the list is really starting to bulk out, I'd love to get your thoughts on some of these guys if you have any thoughts on them. I'll leave the linebackers because obviously we're going to talk about them shortly. But yeah, any that stand out to you, please do say. And maybe we'll go over as well with 4 spots left. Who you'd like to see come into the building after that. So the only 2 quarterbacks that we've had in the 30 visits are Miami's Carson Beck and North Dakota State's Cole Payton. So any thoughts on those guys, Gav?
Well, yeah, we've talked about those. I mean, I'm very excited by Payton. I'd love to see him in the building. Beck, I understand why they would be interested in him, like a sort of high floor backup, but not the guy that is most exciting for them to draft. Kind of got a noodle arm because of all the injuries, but a professional quarterback that you could understand would be getting Rudolph off the roster. Also, we got the Taylor Green visit upcoming, right? That's the.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah, because that's not on here, but that is coming, I believe. Yeah. So I can't believe I've got my sleeper Taylor Green as well. I'm just right. I'm a slave to the list in front of me.
That's okay. So but that would be an exciting one. That would, there's a bit of time there, but it wouldn't answer any questions immediately, would it? I mean, at this point, we're still assuming. I'm certainly assuming that Rodgers is coming back, so that would give whoever comes in time to, and we'd want to see what Howard would do in the preseason. So it would give any rookie drafted a full off season and like season of redshirt, effectively, wouldn't it? Before we see them properly in the next season. So I think as long as Rodgers comes back, pressure's off about who they draft. So I don't see the upside of taking Beck. Myself, I'd rather see Payton and Green and just take one of these moonshots, and then if Rodgers retires next year, or Howard doesn't work out, they've got a shot at someone in that draft, the better class. But
I'm not totally anti Beck, but I also understand what you're saying. Yeah, if it were up to me, I still feel like I'm almost on the fence of I'm not really bothered if we take one at all, but I guess if you think about Mason and if you want a little bit more competition in there, I think we will do, but I'm not majorly bothered if we don't. It will only bother me if we take a first rounder potentially in Ty Simpson. But
with that, I think in a draft where they've got so many picks, unless they leverage those into a move up or something, having so many picks, not all of them are going to make the roster, right? So it makes sense to use one as a lottery ticket, see him get a fourth quarterback in, scout team quarterback, and see if they, moonshot. It's that Dave Damashek, take one every year. Just you never know when that lottery ticket's going to come in. The Tom Brady's, the one the 199 or whatever. So I think they should draft one in the later rounds if there's one they like that's on the board when they haven't got a pick of particular, need or best player available is the quarterback. Take the quarterback.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And time will tell on that one. Do you think we'll get Ty Simpson in for a visit, or do you think we'll? Because I think, did we meet with him at the combine?
They probably they probably should be doing their due diligence on him just to eliminate him. Because I don't want to be the team that drafts him personally.
No.
Tom's just asked in the chat. You girls, how do you feel about us trading back in the first? Heard a bit of talk about us doing it. I actually think it's a good idea in this draft. What do you think, Mark?
If we're talking for a quarterback, I'm still no. But if in general, I'm kind of in on it. I quite like the idea. Either doing that or moving up in the second is also something I've kind of toyed with the idea of, like, just having a look at what that would be like. I think there's a lot of prospects I like in that sort of 25 to 40 range.
Don't you think this is a weird draft? Like I can't remember a draft like this. Usually there's 4 or 5 guys that I'm gunning for the Steelers to take in the first round, or one just like, they've got to get this guy. There's none of that. There's about 10 or 15 guys where I think, well, they could take that guy or this guy. It does feel to me like the logical thing to do would be to trade back, but then who'd be moving up? I mean, I've seen rumors about.
Well, this is the thing, yeah. Who's going to move up? Yeah, a lot of people want to trade back by the sounds of it, but who's actually going to pull the plug and really make a move up there? And I think one of the wide receiver options is very interesting in regards to that.
Yeah,
but
it's a weird draft. Is the NIL thing just and this is the effect of all the COVID years and all those extended years. This is just the way it is now, that where people are extending and delaying to stay in college as long as possible and not declaring early, so you don't get the same level of talent coming through. It's more the seniors now.
Potentially, yeah. People have really got their eye on next year's draft as well. But the same thing could happen. But this draft is weird in that I think the best positional groups in this are the ones that aren't the premium groups as well. I think it's a little bit different in that respect. I think outside of the top 5 or 10 prospects as well, I think people are going to have varying degrees of what their consensus is, and I think it could be a real. There, I think, lies the interest of this draft is where the hell is everybody going to go? Because I think people are going to have so varying different opinions on some of these guys. We could see some real surprises outside of general consensus, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a backfill your roster draft rather than load up on premier talent. I think there's lots of players that are going to be scheme specific and teams are going to value higher than other teams. So I think the boards are going to be very different. I think Daniel Jeremiah and whoever's doing the draft coverage are going to have a nightmare because they're going to be all over the place. Or alternatively, you could see it's going to be very exciting draft, because I think this is one of the hardest drafts to predict in years, apart from the first pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is, certainly. Just kind of going through the list. I obviously those two, as you said, we had mentioned them already, so I'll try and avoid some of the March ones that we've done. Some of the newer ones that we may not have mentioned on the show. Going into the wide receivers, we've obviously talked about Caldwell and Law before, but Denzel Boston of Washington has had a visit. Skylar Bell out of UConn, and the big one, Makai Lemon out of USC, projected first rounder there. One of only a couple in this 30 visit group so far. Had a visit with the Steelers yesterday, with Jeremy Bernard also potentially having one during April. The Makai Lemon one is incredibly interesting to me, and obviously wide receivers our last group that we're doing next week. So I don't want to say too much in terms of that because I've looked at a fair few of these wide receivers already. But Lemon being that first round touted talent, I've seen his range vary wildly in this first round. So I think that's very interesting that the Steelers have brought him in. I know they spoke to him at the Combine as well. So that's where I'm thinking, could this be? I think that's the one potential option where the Steelers could move up.
Be very interesting because he's kind of slot only, isn't he? He's sort of
pretty much.
I think he's going to play on the outside. So if they were going to play 3 wide receiver sets, I mean that would be a very exciting pick, possibly the most exciting pick I can think of actually. If they took, unless one of the the higher up receivers fell. I mean he could be number 2 on people's boards, right? But I think some people have got other players above him in terms of the wide receivers, but. Yeah, I like Lemon a lot. That would be. I'm glad they're doing the due diligence on him because that's the thing. We've not seen the 3 wide receiver sets because of Arthur Smith, but this is a different brain trust, right? So if they do want to do that'd be a hell of a pick.
Yeah, no, I'm fully on board for it. But I'll talk more about Makai Lemon next week. Only one tight end that has come in so far, Marlon Klein of Michigan. The wrong one. Bring in Max Breedson, please.
Or Sam Roush.
Hopefully they were just talking to Klein about Breedson. That'd be great. We talked about Markel Bell before, but we brought in another giant today, Travis Burke out of Memphis, who we didn't mention on the offensive tackle show. 6'9" as well. An absolute hulking beast of a human being. Very high in Dane Brugler's offensive tackle rankings from the Beast that came out earlier this week. The most amazing guide of them all. But yeah, he was very high on Brugler's list there. That was very interesting. So yeah, need to have a look more into Travis Burke, I think, as a potential pick in there. Just going down the list a little bit, defensive line, your boy Darrell Jackson has now had a visit.
Certainly my boy.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, he would be an awesome protege for Cam. Love to see him.
I forgot he wasn't your Red Star as well. I was shocked when I was
very close. Well, no, because Peter Woods was my Red Star. Just been just a dynamic athlete. But Darrell Jackson is a perfect Steelers fit for a D end, and under the tutelage that they've got there, he could really. I mean, he's an aggressive mauler, isn't he? So that would be.
Peter Woods has fallen off a little bit as well.
I'm wondering if he could somehow wheedle his way onto the Steelers because at one point he was going at like 15 or 16, I thought.
I think he'll be there at 21, certainly, but I'm a little bit concerned. Why the fall is there. But very interesting on that. As I say, I'll skip the linebackers because we're going to talk about them shortly. Corners, only one new one that we really haven't spoken about on the show. Malik Muhammad of Texas. Didn't bring him up on last week's corner show, but heard some decent things about Malik Muhammad, so that's an interesting one. I do like my Texas DB, so I'm a bit shocked I didn't actually look at him, considering last year's Jade Barron and Andrew Makuba love.
How did those two do? Sorry, how did those two do? I was thinking about that. I didn't.
Makuba got hurt, but started well, I think, at Philly.
Was Barron hurt as well? Did he go into the season hurt?
I think he might have been a little bit, but I think, because he went Broncos, didn't he? I think. Broncos? I think so. I think they both just ended up a little bit hurt. Safeties, Jacoby Thomas of Miami, who we didn't speak about on the show, but the other potential first round pick in here, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo, who we obviously spoke about on the safety show.
There's been a bit of buzz around. There's been a few links there, hasn't there? In mock drafts and things, but and rumors generally. So that's one. And Toledo, obviously, the Steelers like drafting from Toledo. So I can't remember what you guys thought of McNeil-Warren. I was
fine on it. I had him at value, and I think that back end of first is actually a good shout for him. I wasn't. The thing is, Downs and Thieneman kind of stole the show for me there, and I thought McNeil-Warren was fine, but I wasn't like blown away by his play. But as I say, I think he's definitely worth a day one selection at the back end. He could be worth somebody trading down for. Like if we're to get capital and get McNeil-Warren, I think that'd be a semi-decent pickup. I'm not mad keen on taking a safety in the first round, but if that's the route to do it, I wouldn't be too adverse to it.
More of a free safety type than a box type, was he?
Lisa, yeah, I'll have to double check my notes on that.
I can't remember.
Here's the thing: once you watch these other classes, people just start getting out of your head again, and you have to remind yourself.
Yeah.
Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think it was just a case of everything felt really good, but nothing felt super elite.
Fair enough. Atkel
pretty much.
9591 has asked, is there a QB in 26 or 27 draft that you would draft? I mean, Manning's the hot ticket there, right? But is there? I mean, you're our college expert. Is there anyone that you're particular? I mean, we don't want to go too much into depth because obviously these classes always change and people fall. Like this time last year, we were talking about Allah being the number 1 pick, and that didn't happen. So,
well, no, exactly. Yeah, no, nobody was really talking about Mendoza this time last year. I'm still annoyed I didn't summer scout him. But I mean, the problem with the 27 class is that it's a lot of guys that you thought were going to come out this year didn't really live up to expectations and went back. I mean, if I really liked Dante Moore, and I was kind of bummed out that he didn't come out. I think he was going to be pretty high on my list if he did. I thought it was very intriguing that he went back to Oregon, probably just to avoid going to New York. But he is definitely someone I'm going to keep my eye on. Dependent obviously on what happens with the Steelers if we're picking 20th again or whatever. Dante Moore is definitely someone I've got my eye on. Obviously, Arch Manning got better as the year went on, so I'm hoping his senior year is going to be a real standout year for him. But yeah, it's just a lot of guys who, we thought might come out as juniors and just it didn't really work out for them. Lenoris Sellers, Sam Levitt, who's now at LSU, John Mateer, guys of that mold.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a long time yet.
Exactly. Yeah, but 2026. No, it's going to be later on in the draft, if anything, for me. Certainly, as we've discussed. There's a UCLA QB next year, Tom. But Good is probably. I Am a Lever was fine towards the end, but really had a rough start, especially with all the hubbub around him as well. So he's another one of those people that didn't really live up to the hype.
I feel like for Simon's sake, we should mention the alleged Mike Vrabel thing, because if he was here, he would be talking about that. So do you want
How did I forget that this even happened? I am still sure that Diana Rossini asked Dane Brugler to put the beast out on that day because she knew something was dropping. Just gave him a nudge and like, you drop the beast today, please, because this is going to blow up and I need a distraction. Yes, obviously, if you have not heard, Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini seen together in, well, what have you seen the pictures?
Yeah, I mean, you can't even tell who it is, to be honest, but okay.
You can tell it's Vrabel. I know that much. Unmistakably Vrabel, but yeah, it's not a great look, is it? It's not they're not the worst pictures in the world, but it's still not a great look. And it's just a shame of, kind of what it does for reporters in general, I think. And it's a weird one to talk about, really, because it's people's private lives, and to a certain extent, just let them do what they want to do. But in the positions that they're in, it could be really damaging to both of them, really.
The positions they're in. Okay. I mean, allegedly, but some of the rumors I'm reading on Twitter are pretty salacious about not necessarily this relationship, but past dealings with getting information. Just I don't know. I don't want to say any more than that, but it's pretty wild stuff if true. That's what I'm going to say. I'd honestly.
So some of the stuff that's kind of been dug out from it is very interesting as well. People trying to put puzzle pieces together there, but
a lot of jot joining. That's a Toyn cost. A lot of dot joining. Well, that's a new one.
Jot joining. I like that.
Yeah. That's been going on in hotel rooms for years. Anyway, right. What should we hit the draft?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit those linebackers. I'm going to say something right off the top here, Gav, about this linebacker class. I've not been doing the draft coverage for certainly not as long as you have, and not for particularly long, especially in depth. This might be the most fun I've ever had watching a particular positional group in a draft class. I could not stop watching these linebackers, and that's why I've got 20 guys that I'm going to talk about today.
You're a sick man.
Yeah. I'll probably breeze over a couple, but man, this was such a fun group of athletes. Like a whole bunch of athletes, whole bunch of downhill thumpers. Yeah, this was incredible to watch, and there are so many guys that I am high on, and it's almost a shame that the Steelers have such a full linebacker group as it is, because I would love to pick up a guy. Why bring Cole Holcomb back when you've got these guys? I really want us to draft a linebacker in this class 100%. There's very few places you can go wrong with it as well. So
is it true to say that the Steelers are that deep? I mean, yes, obviously the Peyton Wilson is matching expectations. The first round talent with the injuries haven't reared their head yet. He's steadily improving. Not a complete player, needs someone next to him like a Patrick Queen to sort traffic. Wilson's more of a coverage / blitz weapon. Needs someone with a bit more patience and a bit more seeing into the future and shepherding the defense around. Is Patrick Queen the ideal person? There's question marks. I like Patrick Queen, but a lot of the fans don't. People are trying to get him traded away. Malik Harrison, that sort of downhill run stuffing guy that I like, but that does have a little bit of change of direction issues and maybe isn't the quickest. And then Cole Holcomb, it just feels like maybe this is just a long rehab, but we don't really know what we got. Carson Bruner at this stage, special teamer. I don't think that group stops them from taking one of these super athletic dudes or one of the thumpers in this class later. Do you?
Yeah, I later, certainly not. Would you say it's more of a day 3 thing than a day 2 thing?
Not necessarily. I think they could if there's a guy they like. Patrick Queen's 27, but there are some warts there. His game's not perfect, and if there's a guy they like, I don't know. And you've got to think. I know it's horrible to say, but Peyton Wilson, there are risks. There are medical red flags, which is why he fell to the Steelers in the way he did.
Yeah.
So maybe you want a bit of an insurance policy. It's been a position that's been. They've had trouble filling it with quality talent, haven't they? And I think you want a production line at linebacker because they don't. Yeah. It's a hard position to come in and play. So you don't just get a guy off the street and he suddenly fits into your system. There's so much going on that you want to groom these people.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had some misses in the past. I think since Shazier, we've really sort of struggled to kind of lock it down. I feel like with Patrick Queen coming in, I feel like it's solidified somewhat, and him and Peyton Wilson work really well together. And I'm still annoyed we let Landon Roberts out of the building. I was hoping he might rear his head again with Patrick Graham coming on board, but doesn't look like that's happening. So yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not adverse to a day 2 pick. If probably one of those late 3rd round picks that we've got. We've got 3 of those in the tank. I don't think we'll use all 3, but if we do, I certainly wouldn't mind taking one of these prospects here because there is a lot of great day 2 and day 3 talent just sprawled all over. So I would be more than happy with it. Tom Allen believes that we'll get a linebacker late day 2, early day 3. So yeah, sort of in line with those 3rd round picks I was talking about there. I again would just be, depending on who, I would be absolutely chuffed with that. Well, shall we crack straight into it then, Gav? Let's talk about these guys.
Let's do it. Do you want to start?
Let's do it. I can start. Yeah. So, we're going to, obviously you've got the mock draft database list up there, and we can see Arvell Reese at the top there. We have already talked about Arvell Reese in the edge group because he had declared as an edge. Although I've heard a lot of people talk about he could potentially. Well, first and foremost, he's probably going to move about quite a lot, no matter where he goes. Which I personally think will be number 2 overall. I do think the Jets will take him there. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people being really positive about his role as an off-ball linebacker. I wasn't as sure. I still think he's a little bit trapped in between the two, and it's going to be a case of where exactly he's going to be most comfortable. I know you haven't watched him, Gav, but yeah, so that's why we're not going to talk about him on this show. But yeah, it's just an interesting one, really, to kind of figure out exactly
you
where
did
he's.
Watch him when you were doing the edges. From what I understand, there's a lot less of edge play on his tape than there was on Parsons or Abdul Carter.
Yeah, it's a very raw position for him. Absolutely.
Was it almost when he sort of declared as an edge almost? That was kind of a surprise to people, wasn't it? Because he's barely played it. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think he's looking for the big payday. But he by no means. I mean, he is a supreme athlete and has all the potential in the world to be successful at that position, a la Micah Parsons. But it's just going to take a little bit more time, I think. So I think certainly early on, I think you want to be rotating him around to get the very best out of him. Have him drop back a little bit. Although I thought his coverage skills weren't as great as I was hoping for, and that's why I thought the move to edge might be a little bit more pertinent for him.
Yeah, but I mean, I did obviously when I was watching Styles, I did see Reese, and every time I saw him, he was rushing the passer, but from a sort of mugging position, like not on the edge, but in in between in one of the gaps, and doing a good job. So there's obviously some pass rush skills there, blitz skills. Whether he can do it on the edge and contain the run, I don't know because I haven't watched him. But
yeah, it's a very, very, as I say, I think Arvell Reese is a fantastic player and a fantastic athlete. It's just going to be very interesting to see if I worry about him landing on the Jets because it's the Jets. But at least with Aaron Glenn being a defensive mind, may well be able to get the best out of him. Fingers crossed for his sake. But maybe he won't go to the Jets. Maybe he'll fall somewhere else. Maybe he'll be a Cardinal or a Titan, which doesn't sound much better. But, Titans with Robert Saleh, that would be pretty damn good for him. I think that would be a very interesting role to play there. But, we'll see what happens with our Reese. But I'll move on then to the man you've just mentioned, his teammate at Ohio State, one Mr. Sonny Styles. Senior, 21 years of age, 6'5", 244 pounds. So immediately, you love that. Really, really great frame on him. Now, the first thing you have to say about Sonny Styles is the combine. He was king of the combine. His combine drill scores are unbelievable. I literally, after the combine, I went to my spreadsheet. I hadn't even filled anything out for Sonny Styles at that point. I just went straight to the box of pros and I just put in all capitals, Jesus Christ, his combine drill scores, because they are just unbelievable. I'm just getting them up here now just for a full thing. A 97th percentile 40, 4.46 40, 100th percentile vert, 43.5, 100 percentile broad, 1.34 and there, with a 1.56 10-yard split, which is 84th percentile as well. Just absurd athletic numbers. And yeah, that is absolutely what Sonny Styles is. He's an absurd athlete. He's got the bloodlines. His father was a former Super Bowl champion, Lorenzo Styles Sr. Obviously, Lorenzo Styles Jr. is also in this draft. We didn't talk about him. Also on Ohio State. So yeah, I mean, you saw the combine and you thought to yourself, oh my God, what an athlete. And with the buzz around Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs as well, you stick back on the Ohio State defensive tape and you think to yourself, right, now I get to look at Sonny Styles, the massive athlete out of the three of them, even more athletic than Arvell Reese, which is crazy, or, better combine drill scores. So you think, right, going to sit down, watch Sonny Styles, going to enjoy this. Man, was I deflated when I watched the tape. Yes, he is a supreme athlete. Did he get out of first gear at all? Like, there were flashes, certainly. I think he sheds really well and he can plug up those gaps to get to running backs and just plug those gaps up absolutely brilliantly. I think he follows the ball really nicely. But, man, it was just... Where was the fire? Like, did he know that he was on such a good defense with such great players, such as Downs and Reese and, other members of that defense, that he felt he didn't need to give it 100% all the time? It scares the life out of me to think about this guy going onto a defense that has no stars on it whatsoever. Something like the Bengals defense, for example. Not that I think he will fall to 10, but if he did, it scares me to death to think that he'd go in there, he'd be the premier athlete. They go out and say, right, day one, you are the guy. You're the guy who's going to lead this defense out and lead it into the promised land. I don't feel like he's a leader at all with it. It was such an inconsistent motor. Like, very rarely did I think to myself, "Oh, boom! There's our athleticism you love to see. There's the speed and the physicality." And when he is physical at the line of scrimmage, he's tremendously physical. As I say, he sheds really well, but I didn't see a violence to his game. I didn't see an edge to his game. Patient, certainly, and that kind of goes hand in hand with how sharp he is in his awareness. But man, like I just couldn't fathom the fact that I'd seen such a standout, and yet there was really nothing on tape that I watched other than a few highlight moments that really stood out to me. It was wild.
I went on a bit of a similar journey. Almost I did, because I'd heard about the testing. Usually I like to look at the testing after, but I thought, right, I've heard about the athletic testing, so I'll get that out of the way. I looked, like, oh Jesus, yeah, he's obviously like a supremo athlete, like 98% vertile. There's most of the things are really high off the charts. Thinking, okay, great. Then I watched a game from 24, and I felt very, very, very much what you're saying. Didn't see much fire. Saw a kind of passenger, quick to recover, and I thought, okay, well, he is a converted safety. More of a coverage kind of guy. Maybe he's not down around the box, that kind of thing. Then I watched a game from 25, and the difference, the development, the experience you could see, the communication. He was much more of a commanding presence in the 25 game than the 24 game. Then I watched another game, and it was the same thing. So I think he's developing. He was involved a wayload more in the 25 games than he was in that 24, and you saw him marshalling around, green dotting basically. And I think he's a great tackler. Top PFF tackling grade in the country. So I think what you're seeing here is his play catching up with his ability as he acclimatizes to the position, I think.
No, that's absolutely fair. And as you say, he had 2 missed tackles in 73 attempts in 2025. Both of them came in the bowl game against Miami. So, like, the rest of the season, no missed tackles. Like that is exceptional, certainly. You look at the production and you think, wow, actually, yeah, this guy, on paper is absolutely fantastic. I certainly understand. I will just say very quickly, sorry, Gav, I am hearing a bit of echo on my side. I can hear myself back at times. Anyway, just as I say, I just wanted to see so much more. I didn't see a massively proficient pass rush Arsenal on him. You say he is learning, certainly. But yeah, just I guess I was just maybe I hyped him up a bit too much in my own head, and you heard all of the hype around him from this, that, and the other source, and then just coming to watch him, the apparent lack of fight and determination in his play. Yes, he's learning, but I would have thought that I would have seen more of I don't want to say finished product. That sounds harsh, but maybe it is finished product because, as you say, he is learning. So yeah, he's a +2 athlete, but you need to light a fire underneath him. It feels like I think at times. So I'm at value with him. He's going to be a first rounder, certainly. He may even be a top 10 guy, just purely off that athleticism, if nothing else. You hope that there is still learning room there. And, I hope you're right with that, Gav, for his sake. But yeah, just I can't believe how cold I was left watching some of the tape that I did.
But you liked him in coverage, right? I mean, he's got very fluid hips for a taller guy. Doesn't play gangly like some of the taller backers we've seen. He's a little high in his back pedal, but that's to be expected with his height. But I thought he had good vision, like when he's tracking ball carriers. I can see them through the chaos. I liked his anchor. I like the way he widens his base and drops his anchor to to hold up with blocks. And I thought he actually showed greater strength than his frame suggests. But he could add a bit of upper body, like he could drive players around and move them around with his upper body. I think he's got strong thighs, like you see that in the explosive testing. I think when he drives into people, you see his legs doing a lot of the work. I think he needs a bit more torque and muscle, upper body musculature, which he will sure work on, because he hasn't got much stack and shed ability, which is what he needs, I think. But he's a brick wall in the secondary. I think he's hard to get yards after contact on him. He's powerful, right? So when he's got those powerful legs and he anchors, you're not just going to like run past him. He's going to stop you. Which if he was playing safety like that, I mean, damn, he'd be one hell of a box safety. But I think you can see there the beginnings of a good run defender in space. People coming at him in space, which some of the thumpers and stuff. They struggle breaking down, like when a fast receiver or tight end's running straight at them, they don't want to commit, and then they end up having to kind of leap and explode laterally, and sometimes that's when you see missed tackles. I don't think that's going to be a problem for this guy. He's good. He's comfortable in space, and the other thing with that toughness that he's got playing in that linebacker position, he's going to make receivers think twice about extending on crossing patterns, because he delivers powerful hits. And also coming downhill packs a powerful punch. So I definitely can see why people are very excited and why he's been taught. I mean, some people are saying he's a top 5 talent, right? But it's just the fundamentals of playing linebacker. You don't see it. You don't see that stack and shed. You see hit and shed, which is a different way of doing it. But it's not that patient. He's not gonna grab a guy, wait to see which way the running back goes, and then shed his stack his man into a gap and explode off and then tackle the ball carrier. He's just going to hit a guy and then explode off him. So it's faster, it's less patient. He jolts blockers out of his gap, which you like, but you need to be able to do a bit more technical stuff, which I think he will. Hand skills, the upper body strength, like I said. He uses his length, which he's got a lot of, to lean into the blocks and drive. So we'll see, we'll see. Something to master. Line play, that kind of classic stuff. So, but he's transitioning. This is what I'm saying. But also not the greatest pass rusher. You can tell he's more comfortable at the back of the field rather than down, 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, or 3 yards. He's back from that. That's his zone. He's not got much bend to rush the corner. PFF backs it up. Only got a 69.9 rush grade. So not terrible, but just not his forte compared to the high grades everywhere else. 91.6 tackling grade, 87 run defense, 88 defensive overall, 86 coverage grade, 70 pass rush. So, something to work on, or just not something that you deploy him as. He's like what I was saying. You got Peyton Wilson, your blitz specialist. You've got Sonny Styles sitting back, marshalling, stopping people as they break through. It did slightly worry me that 2 of his mock draftable comps were Isaiah Simmons and Jamin Davis. So there is still a risk with this, these developmental, athletic, hyper-athletic dudes that rise in the draft because of the testing. And then maybe they never quite settle into the pros. But it was that commanding presence, that jumping presence that I saw from year 1 to year 2, or 24 to 25. You just want to see him develop. But I think that to me, I'm at value as well because the value is so high. But I think it sounds to me like I'm a bit higher on him than you are.
Yeah, I think you are. I think out of the 3 prime Ohio State talents of Reese, Downs, and Styles, he's definitely my third out of them. I guess it's just I hope he can develop those things, and I hope he can. I just want to see a bit more oomph out of him. I guess when he's more comfortable, maybe we'll start seeing that. But if that is the case, but yeah, just some of the recovery stuff was really off-putting to me. Like, I know he's got the speed, so why are we not seeing it? Like, is he just so comfortable with what he's got around him that he just doesn't really kick into the next gear? So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'm a bit lower because my expectations were so high. We'll certainly see on it. I still do think, unbelievable athlete, could be a great player. Definitely got it in the locker to be a great player. The intangible stuff is fantastic. It's just the stuff around it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with Sonny Styles. I'm somewhat convinced that it will be okay for him in the end, but I have my big worries around it as well.
Yeah, sure. I think you bet on the testing. How's the echo, by the way? Is that gone?
I think it just fades in. I think it might just be when you're preparing to talk or something. I don't know. I haven't heard it for a little bit, so hopefully it's.
It might have been I had my headphones slightly loud, and when I was turning my head, I was putting my headphone right next to like an amateur. So I will work on not doing that. I'm monitoring the stream, so I'm like an owl here, looking like round to my side.
I've seen your setup, and if anyone wants to see Gav's setup, I mean, my goodness, it is it is a wild one, certainly.
Right, should we move on to the next dude?
Yeah, go on. Where do you want to take us?
I actually don't want to go by consensus.
I think I know why.
If I may. I'd like to jump down to Jacob Rodriguez at Texas Tech, who happens to be 6'1", 231 pounds. This guy, best linebacker in college in 25, according to quite a few metrics, including PFF, him as the top-rated guy. Awesome. What's with this trend, by the way, of the moment of the sort of 1980s just a tash thing? Because all of the youngsters at work have got this now. How do we feel about this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the look. It's not for me. I'm closer to 50 than I am 40. Maybe I don't get it, but to me it doesn't look cool. But if you're looking on the stream right now, I found a photo. That's what Jacob Rodriguez is rocking. So he's obviously down with the kids, right?
I tried it a couple of years ago, and I definitely didn't pull it off the same way that Jacob Rodriguez did. But I believe they've got Texas Tech last year had a package known as the Tash.
So maybe
package.
Were they the trendsetters, and it's through Instagram is hitting the hipsters in London, and is that why they're all doing it? Because I'm pretty sure they're not watching.
I don't know if I could
Raiders.
put Texas Tech as the reason for that, but certainly.
Anyway, on top of that, he was the heart and soul of that fearsome Raiders defense this year. Would you say that was the best defense in college?
Certainly was. Yeah. Well, the Ohio State one probably has something to say about that. But I mean, even the Indiana were unbelievable all around. But I think the amount of talent that's come out this year, particularly with the Raiders, and they've still got a couple of guys as well on that defense that haven't come out that are still absolute studs. So they were definitely up there.
On top of that, he was the Butkus Award winner. Love that. A linebacker, the top linebacker of the country, and Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And he met with the Steelers. So this is a guy that we should all be getting familiar with because they're obviously interested. His PFF grades: 93 defensive grade, 94.8 run defense, 92.3 coverage, and he's a former quarterback. Well, in fact, he was former quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. So I think you can.
He's a former everything.
Fairly say football guy, but it's his quarterback experience that interests me because he has amazing anticipation. He just seems to know where the ball is going, and that's not the only thing. I don't think I've ever seen in any sport anyone have such incredible hand-to-eye coordination. It's just. The plays he makes, you just think, how did he do that? Like the peanut punches, the interceptions, the swats, the tips. I mean, this guy's got hand speed and just precision. And you combine that with what he's got going on in his brain in terms of anticipation. You've got a very interesting linebacker that I can't really compare to anyone I've ever seen before. In Texas, he plays. He's pure Mike, right? He's not one of these overhang merchants that you see sort of getting moved around into the slot. He is the middle of that, like the cornerstone, like straight in the middle. What do you call that thing? Is it the cornerstone? The thing that sits above the door that's made out of stone, like the keystone. That's it. He's the keystone.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the run diagnosis. When he does come down, he sets a really solid edge, plays with discipline, doesn't get pulled around, doesn't overcommit. Just fantastic run instincts, which when you've got a guy that's great in coverage to have such great run instincts, he's a rare thing of being, you don't often see it, these guys coming out. He's a complete linebacker. don't you think?
Yeah.
The one thing, he's got some shed ability, but that's, I'd say, the one area where he could improve. Stack and shed, I just talked about it with Sonny Styles. He's better at it than Sonny Styles is. I think Rodriguez could do with a bit of added mass and getting a bit more power to stack and shed a little bit more. But I don't think it's a mental thing with him. I think it's just pure getting the technique down, getting some more strength. But you like his pursuit angles. He cuts through traffic like a hot knife. He looks smooth in coverage. He looks smooth dropping. He's got speed to cover the flats. One area you do see him paying more attention to the quarterback's eyes than what the receivers are running behind him. Perhaps a little bit, maybe scheme specific. I don't know. Maybe he was spying or something. But a couple of times I noticed I would have liked him to have been more aware of routes that were developing behind him. But that's something you see quite a lot anyway with all players. And sometimes I think it's their assignment. But fluid hips, great change of direction, nice baseball turns. You see, like that move you see them doing at the combine where they have to run and flip their hips and then flip them the other way to counter, and that's great for counteracting play action passes when they've got a step forward to cover the run in case it's a run, and then the play reveals itself to be a pass, and then they have to kind of spin and run backwards. And he does that without missing a beat. He's got speed, can trail, not wide receivers, but tight ends. He's got the speed to kind of stay in phase with. Really nice wrap-up tackler. Solid meeting rushers in the hole. But he doesn't hit with Sonny Styles' power. Like, he's not driving people back or knocking people around when he hits them. It's kind of stand-up tackles rather than knockbacks. But the swats and punch-outs, the hand-to-eye coordination, that's elite, I think. I don't know. You tell me if you've seen anyone like that before. Does he offer anything as a rusher when he's blocked? I didn't see much of a pass rush toolkit. I kind of mentioned his bend, but his PFF grade backs this up. 62 pass rush grade, 1 sack in 25. So, yeah, I'm not sure he's adding much to that element. But you like him in and around the box more for the edge setting and the sideline, like are his hot zones versus the run rather than actually penetrating. But he definitely affects the pass more with his ball hawking, reaction skills, and swatting at the line. So he does affect the pass. You want him on the field all 3 downs. I like this guy's game a lot. College production is off the charts. The intangibles are there. I think what's keeping him down is measurables and strength, which aren't blue chip for the NFL. Like 46th percentile height, 21st percentile weight. So you can add a bit of weight, can't add any height. Short arms as well. That probably leans into the stack and shed ability. 11th percentile arms. Isn't the fastest. Long speed is okay. 4.5740. 10-yard split is mid, 55th percentile. But the instincts compensate for that. I think he's not accelerating with pure athleticism, but he's seeing into the future. Love this guy. Mock draftable comp is interesting. The top comp, Quan Alexander, guy we've seen in Pittsburgh, was effective, similarly undersized, but great against the pass. Maybe like this guy a little bit more than Quan Alexander. Alexander had some great years next to Levante David in Tampa. So, this guy I think he's going to have a long NFL career. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl type character. But there's a few things you've got to work out. But would he suit? I think he would actually suit a 3-4 team more than a 4-3 because he's going to benefit from having a thumper next to him, or a blitz specialist next to him. Allow him to, read what's going on with the quarterback and maybe make some plays on the ball. So maybe this is a guy that the Steelers would have higher on their board than some 4-3 teams. What do you think?
Oh, by the way, the echo's come back a little bit there. But basically, I have my big board coming out next week, and here's a little bit of a spoiler for you on it. If Arvell Reese is classed as an edge, let's just say for now he is, and let's just put him in the edge category, then Jacob Rodriguez is my linebacker 1. I absolutely love this guy. The Texas Tech guys that I've come in and watched, I have had massive high hopes on and then felt just a tiny little bit flat on them. David Bailey, little bit flat. Lee Hunter, little bit flat. Romello Height, not too bad, but a little bit flat. Not this guy. Oh my God. Now, I've been talking about Jacob Rodriguez for a little while as well. I think I mentioned him back in October in our group chat because, yeah, immediately I had, Jacob Rodriguez's name got tossed out very early in the season because he is just that damn good. Remember, this guy was a Heisman candidate at one point. I can't remember where he finished in the Heisman rating, but it was quite high. I think he might have been the top defensive Heisman player in this year. Oh my God! Like this guy, 0 penalties in his entire career. You love to see that. 6 sacks, 5 interceptions, 10 forced fumbles in the last 2 seasons. Holy hell! Incredible. As you said, he has played every offensive weapon position, and it shows. And as you say, he was a superb quarterback in high school as well. I think he redshirted at Virginia. I think he played as a quarterback in Virginia. If I might be wrong on that. I can't remember when he did the. I don't know if it was when he went over to Tech that he fully moved over as a linebacker. But yeah, you see, as you just mentioned, you see all of those traits on the field with him. And he even takes a couple of packages on offense. He takes Wildcat packages on offense as well, which I think is the Tash package that we talked about there. Patient, alert, finds gaps with precision, pops in his tackles. He tackles harder than a man who is his size. And yeah, it is undersized, certainly, but he really, really hits hard. He does have a bit of a higher missed tackle rate than you would like to see. My PFF isn't working for some reason, hasn't been for a little while now, which is very annoying. But I do believe, yeah, his missed tackle rate wasn't particularly great. If you can confirm what the numbers were like. But when he does hit, holy hell, it is exceptional.
17 missed tackles, 746th. I think that's good.
But what's the percentage?
I'll give you his rate. Hang on. That's just on the page I was on. I'll come back to you.
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, as you say, the peanut punches as well. Every chance he tries to get, as you say, 10 forced fumbles in the last 2 seasons. Unbelievable numbers. He has wanted to punch that ball out all the time. Yes, he's a little bit undersized. Yes, he's going to be 24 when the season starts. The speed is good, not elite. Apparently his athletic testing was a lot better than people were expecting. People were not. That was the big worry on him, was how is this guy going to test? And he did a lot better than people were thinking. He is anywhere and everywhere you need him to be. Sharp mind, powerful contact, mission to get the ball. Is it perfect? No. Is he older than lighter? Sure. But if you're a team in win now mode, you want him on your team yesterday. And if you're in a rebuild, then he can help you lead that defense. He's got those leadership qualities that I thought I might be missing somewhat in Sonny Styles. His testing quietened critics and drove his stock up in the process. I was hoping at one point he might fall to 53. That isn't happening in this draft now. I will be stunned if that happens. I kind of said this about Emmanuel Pregnon as well. I don't care if he's 24. I'll take him at 21. If you're going to take any sort of linebacker at 21, this is the guy. This is the only guy I would want to consider at this point. What an unbelievable player. I absolutely love Jacob Rodriguez.
You've asked...
Plus...
Sorry.
I was going to say +2 Red Star.
Red Star!
Sorry, didn't mean to ruin your build-up there. I was just saying, you've answered Stephen's question, which he was saying Rodriguez in the second. So you've saying Rodriguez in the first.
I would. I would also trade up in the second. This is one of those trade up in the second scenarios that I was talking about, and it's literally just reserved for him and Pregnon at the moment. Holy hell, this guy's just unbelievable. And you know what? He is such a badass. He's not even the biggest badass in his own house. His wife is an Army Black Hawk pilot.
It's pretty badass.
Pretty damn badass. He is just unbelievable. I say it, the linchpin of that Texas Tech defense. And you know what? He had a guy next to him. I think his name's Ben Roberts, playing alongside of him. When he comes out, keep your eye on him as well, because if you watch the BYU game, particularly in that game, Roberts stood the hell out in that. Like he was incredible in that. But obviously having Rodriguez next to him helps. And Jacob Rodriguez for the rest of it just absolutely stole the show. Like, what an unbelievable player. As you said, Butkus Award winner, but also Bronco Nagurski winner, Lombardi Award, Chuck Bednarek Award, Pony Express Award, whatever the hell that is, as well as being, unanimous All-American and Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. So, and, 2-time first team All Big 12. So, just unbelievable and deserving of every single award that he had there.
Stephen says in the chat also, currently Steelers' new outside linebackers coach was his linebacker coach at Texas Tech. So.
Indeed, CJRU, the greatest name ever. So I really hope that he's one of these did we have him? Yeah, we did have him as a 30 visit. Sorry, because I didn't bring up the linebackers in the when we talked about the 30 visits. Yes, we did indeed have Jacob Rodriguez as
just some housekeeping. The missed tackle rate in 25 was 13.9, averaged 15 over his 4-year career. But interestingly, his tackling grade was a little lower, actually 65.5.
Yeah, so it's a little bit higher than you want it to be, and I think it's just he's so electric and everywhere. I guess he's probably going to miss it here and there, and the length is a possible concern, certainly. Not as big as some of these other guys, but I'm not massively worried about that at all. Really, really not. Just the player that he is all round. He is an absolute leader. He will be, I think, a leader in a quick amount of time for a team.
So you're +2. I'm +1. I'm +1. Just I don't know why. I could have been +2. I was very, very high on him, and I'd really like them to draft him. I just think
not your red star.
Not my red star. Very close to being my red star. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's literally the only reason why he's not a +2, just because I don't want to have too many +2s. But I could be swayed.
Well, he might not be your red star. He is my red star, but he is also Tom's red star.
Red star.
I'll just go through Tom's notes here. The most fun tape in the draft for me. He was also the best inside linebacker in college last year. He's an instinctive player who just seems to get to the ball, and he's a peanut punch expert. I don't really care that he has short arms, isn't the most athletic, or is a bit older. He will give to a team 110% every game. And I absolutely agree with you, Tom, on all of those points.
It definitely feels like as well you're getting a leader. Like you're getting a quarterback of the defense, quite literally. And that's something that is on top of his play, right? It's that's the intangibles that you're getting with him. So it's not just about physicality. It's not like Sonny Stars you're taking because of the athlete he is. Jacob Rodriguez you're taking because of everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Football. It's just pure football guy.
Yeah, 100%. Is he the complete opposite of Sonny Stars? No, maybe not complete opposite, but certainly athletically it almost feels like it. But still, as I say, bettered expectations in his athleticism than people were thinking. So that obviously rose his stock to the point where 53 feels impossible now for him. Worried that the Bengals have had a meeting with him as well today. Please don't let him be an AFC North linebacker that's not a Steeler.
I don't think even he's good enough to turn around that Bengals defense. I wouldn't worry too much.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Rodriguez. I'll tell you that much.
A lot of Bengals fear this year. Everyone's worried about them taking Jeremiah Love.
They take good players. Then we don't want that.
They always take good players, but they never put it together, do they? I mean, they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They can't put it together.
Yeah, but they've not done great in recent drafts.
Let's not worry about them. Let's worry about the Ravens. They're the real opposition.
I mean, very recent drafts, by the way, before anyone thinks I'm bashing Jamar Chase there. Jesus. Right. So you obviously took us a little bit out of consensus. We will say, I don't think we mentioned, he was 44th on the consensus board that we've got here. He's going higher than that. I think he's top end of second. He might even be back end of first.
Yeah,
as I say, I'd take him at 21, but yeah. Okay, let's go a little bit back then, and let's talk about CJ Allen out of Georgia. 21 years of age, junior, 6'1", 250 pounds. CJ Allen was a bit of a weird one for me. He's not the most fluid athlete, I didn't find. Again, 6'1", a little bit undersized in that respect. 250 is very nice. You love to see that. But felt like the movement was a little bit slow. Change of direction was particularly slow. Just in terms of that general, uh, is it athleticism or is it just what would you call kind of the movement style? Just his movement in general, I think wasn't particularly as great as I would like to see. Um, I felt like there was a few struggles on his tape, particularly against larger linemen. Definitely has the arm length issues as well. Struggles in those departments. Decent sack number, 4 sacks. Had a couple of forced fumbles in 25 as well. I do think one of the upsides of his game, I think he's very, very patient in the run game. I think his awareness for running backs is fantastic. And he does come downhill with a force. He is a proper ferocity monster in terms of coming downhill. Low missed tackle rate. I think his tackling technique is really nice. A good communicator across that Georgia defense as well. I think he possesses enough speed and enough polish to be a pretty decent defensive threat, particularly in the run game as well. I kind of almost had him as an upper echelon Tampa Bay candidate, in that he wasn't particularly like popping off the tape for me, but he was very, very solid at what he did. Obviously, he's not my Tampa Bay guy because I think there's another guy in this that definitely fit the mold more. But I think he's a really solid pick, and I would probably, where he is at the moment, 33, that kind of back end of day one, early day two, kind of speaks to me a little bit. I do like him. I'm just not as excited as I am about some of the other guys in this class about him. I'm at value. I mean, he's a 2-time SEC champion. He's a first team All SEC in 2025, consensus All American in 2025 as well, and he's young, which is really great. He's only just turned 21 at the start of last month, so a lot of growth there. So I think there's a good ceiling for CJ Allen. I think the ceiling is high. I just have my little bit of concerns about those movement skills, and just to see how well it translates into the next level. If he might get caught out a little bit by it, but what did you think of Allen?
Well, it's always concerning when a guy doesn't test that well. Why didn't he run at the combine and all that stuff? Was there an injury there? Do you know the background?
I didn't have any injury of note. No, I know that there was some concerns at his pro day as well, particularly about some of the drills that he did there. Didn't really look particularly great.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows that he's not. But I mean, the tape sort of shows a guy that has great burst, certainly, just not maybe the long speed.
Yeah, because it seems to me it's a guy that thought that his draft was going to be hurt by the testing, which probably is, which is a shame because I think he's probably the most traditional, he's probably the most experienced linebacker at playing linebacker out of the three guys we've talked about so far. Maybe he's the least exciting athletically, slightly smaller, but I like his thick lower half, and I actually thought he was kind of a smooth mover, actually. He's not just a thumper. Yes, he's not the athletic all over the field guy that maybe you want to see, but I thought he showed some coverage ability. I thought he plays quite well. I thought he had I thought he can cover the flats and the areas that you need. I was actually surprised when I saw his measurables. I thought he plays bigger than I was expecting him to be more of a kind of thumper size. When I saw his measurables, I was a bit shocked. So sometimes the tape tells you more than the measuring tape does. The video tape more than the measuring tape, because he plays bigger for Georgia. A big program. It's not like he's going up against Incarnate Word or whatever.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Solid tackler. I thought he stands runners up in the gap well, and I think he can break down in space as well. So what do I mean by that? When a player's running at him in space, he can. He's not scared. He's going to commit and tackle, not wait to get his ankles broken. And he can stack and shed. He's a better stack and shed out of the top three guys. disengages from blocks well, explodes laterally into tackles well. He's got good lateral range. Like, when he's trying to jump sideways to shoelace tackle a guy, he can make the tackle. So I wasn't so down on him. I thought he had got the power to fight through blocks, can set an edge with discipline. Where the issues are is I didn't think he offered much as a blitzer. Just kind of runs into blockers, doesn't really try and bend or dip or even really attack, chest plates or anything. He just kind of runs into them. So that's where I'd want to improve him. The speed definitely doesn't have. Yes, he can cover the flats, but he can't. In the pursuit game, he's getting left behind. Like, a running back, that takes a handoff or a wide receiver on a jet or a reverse or whatever, they're gone. Like, there's no chance of him catching them. He's left behind. So it's a bit of a shame. You want him to add mass to gain NFL power, but is that mass going to make him even more of a plodder? So that's the risk. But something I really like was there's rumours that he was actually calling plays for Georgia. Not green dot stuff, actually calling plays. Seems hard to believe, but apparently it was true. At 20, apparently the defensive coordinator and head coach, they liked what he was doing. They thought that he could see better than them, and they let him call plays. So that's huge. And you like that as a leader.
That would be huge. Yeah, blimey. I've not heard anything like that.
I was actually +1 on him. I know he's kind of. I can see why you're Tampa Bay-ish. He might well be. He might just be a very mid player. But there was enough there that it's with linebackers and D-line. If a player can stack and shed in college, I think they can play in the NFL because that's a tough skill, and that is if you've got one guy in your defense that can do that to a high level, then that gives you an extra man in defense because effectively stack and shed means you can block two gaps, and especially if it's in the middle, that means you've got an advantage across the whole of your front. So the fact he can do that, that's worth something. So yeah, +1, CJ Allen.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, there's the two sides of Tampa Bay, by the way. It's like you've got your solid but unspectacular, and then your kind of mediocre, not really feeling it sort of type. But CJ Allen's definitely in the former camp for me. I think he is solid, if somewhat not spectacular. I did, you talk about the stack and shed. I do think when it was the larger guards, I think he had his struggles, and I do think that kind of comes down to, the size in terms of his length. But I mean, overall, I thought he was a very good player. It didn't really pop for me as much as I was, maybe not anticipating, but it just didn't really click with me that he was somebody who is going to be a total game changer. But having said that, what you've said about if he is calling plays in the defensive side of things, that would change a lot. If that is true, because that is something I hadn't seen before on him, that's invaluable to a team, and that would push him into first round consideration 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it totally changes the picture, doesn't it?
It really, really does. So yeah, I for his sake, I hope that is true because that would be massive. So yeah, and if he ends up on a really good team at the back end of the first round and he's got those skills, then geez, it could be, he could be leading him into championship games. Yeah. So
it shows up. His PFF grades last year, 75 for defense and 55 for coverage, which that's kind of more what you were saying. His coverage is poor. I thought while his coverage wasn't excellent, I thought his movement was okay. So I thought there's potential there. But the run defense 88.6 and the tackling 84.1, with a missed tackle rate of 7.8. So you know what you're getting. It's just a solid, boring box leader, and there's
nothing wrong with that.
You
really.
Want that, yeah. You want that,
yeah.
Right. So I'll take us to the next person.
Do it.
Okay, I'll stick with consensus. That would be Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas, who is 6'2", 238. So a little bit of a bigger guy here. 1 second there. Let me do that. Speedy, aggressive backer. Nice size, nice frame. I said that, and plays to stop the run. And ran a 4.5140, which is good for 93 percentile. So there's that speed. Young prospect, only 21, and I liked him as a tough edge setter and run fitter. Sorts through traffic well, good tackler, and that shows up in his PFF grades, 88.8 tackling grade in 25. He had a nice anchor, plays with a wide base through contact. Seen him over pursue a little bit in the flat, which allows for gains. Hate that. That's a Devin Bush speciality when he was with the Steelers. Just go past the running back to the sideline and the guy cuts inside. Awful. And I think that might be aggression, but he's got, he's so speedy, he gets there too fast. So maybe he needs to be tamed and, worked out, the aggression that can take him out of plays, kills his awareness. So needs to get some of that patience. That's something you can do with coaching, hopefully. Can he shed? Not sure. It seems to run into the pile and get stuck. Medium length arms, shouldn't prevent it. Should be able to do it, but perhaps more technical ability, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. Definitely has difficulty penetrating. Gets knocked off course pretty easily. Blitzing. Doesn't seem to have amazing contact balance. So when he's rushing, he just gets jammed up or falls over or gets pushed into a teammate or something. Bit tight in his back pedal. Bit tight through coverage. Didn't really do much in coverage. Definitely a run guy. He's on the board at 49, the consensus big board. At this value, the big board, I want a little more, I thought. You're kind of getting speed with some nice run fits, nice anchor and stuff, or good tackling. It's got potential, but man, that over aggressiveness and the playing space scares me. So for me, I was -1 on him. I didn't really. I think I'm still burnt by Devin Bush, but I could be wrong. There's definitely some potential here, but I'd rather let someone else draft him. If he's a falling target for me, or if he falls and then he's there much later, I'd take him. I'd take a chance, but I'm not taking him in the second round. What do you think?
See, if you're not wrong, then I am wrong, because I really like this guy. Okay. I think the production, 23 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. Really, really love to see that. As I say, some fantastic athletic testing. I said if Sonny Styles plays with the fire that Anthony Hill has, I'd probably have Sonny Styles in my top 3. He plays with such an intensity, and you love to see that. Yes, it's an aggressive downhill pursuit that does leave him a little flat-footed and a little over-pursuey, as you've said. That can be a big worry, certainly. I don't think his instincts are that of others in this class either, in his zone coverage. So, definitely got to worry about that. I think his turning is a little bit iffy, but 4.5% missed tackle rate in 2025. Love to see that. Gets physical, is scheme versatile. You can see him play, in different roles around the defense. And just plays with his hair on fire. He plays like backs owe him money. And I think the athleticism shows up a ton on tape. Definitely a lot of work needs to be done in that coverage game. But again, he's young. He's not long turned 21 years old. He's willing, and he's pretty athletically gifted as well. I'm banking on those traits with Anthony Hill. If you can clean up some of those coverage issues, then I think you've got a really, really nice player here. So I'm actually +1. I think that the future could be bright for Anthony Hill.
Interesting. Do you think his missed tackle grade is so low because when he whiffs, he's even nowhere near tackling? It's like it doesn't even go down as a missed tackle.
Surely you've got to take that into consideration. Surely you see on the tape that he is... If he's attempting it, surely that's got to come into it.
I think he's out of position. He's not even not even on the ball. But maybe
that could be part of it. It could be, maybe it's not like the main part of it, but it could be a slice of why that is. But I think just for the most part, his aggression really pays off, and he's a firm tackler. So I'm really high on him, and I'm intrigued that there's a discourse here between the two of us. I think that's definitely a guy to look out for and see who will eventually be right about that.
PFF grades aren't amazing. Tackling is the best, 88, but everything else is kind of mid and okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely get that. I just think, yeah, the production's great on its own as well. And if you can carry that over into the NFL, then yeah, I think a bright future is in store.
Missed tackle rate was more normal, 15% and 11% 2 years.
Yeah,
previous,
it definitely got better, certainly. But when it's getting better that early, when you're 21 years of age, that's incredibly encouraging to me.
Fair enough. One we disagree on. That's always good.
Like it. Yeah. Put that in the disagreement bucket with Ketz's Blake Miller takes.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to go? Is it you or me? It's you, isn't it? I think
it's me. Yes. Where are we at on the consensus? Oh, right. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. So this guy next on the consensus is Jake Golday out of Cincinnati, formerly of Central Arkansas, redshirt senior, 6'4", 239 pounds. So you like the 6'4" element of that, certainly. Fantastic. Now, slightly older prospect, as I say, 22 years of age. I think he's turning 23 in a month. So yeah, he'll be 23 when the NFL season starts. He's only got 2 years of FBS experience behind him and only 1 year as a starter. So yeah, somewhat limited experience in terms of big time, but Central Arkansas is still, a decent program if not FBS. But man, the testing numbers were pretty good. Only a 9% missed tackle rate, which you like to see. Single digits, really nice. Super patient, like really, really patient in his build up. Positional versatility, lined up a ton, all over the spot in the defense, which you love to see. Bursts off the line of scrimmage, off the edge. Really, really love his burst. Speed for his size is 239. It's not the heaviest, but it's also he's not a small guy, and his speed still really shows up really nicely. He's a Feldman's Freaks list guy as well, so that's great. But the motor seems to always be on. Like it is a 24/7 motor with this guy, and you love to see that. I love my high motor guys, and Jake Golday is certainly one of them. The patience can turn into hesitancy at times. I think he can be a step late into plays. He has this weird thing. I don't know if you picked this up, and I don't think I noticed it with anybody else. Obviously, with patient players at linebacker, you still do get a little bit of movement. Like there's a little bit of the feet moving and just almost kind of prowling around there. He stays so static for so long in his stance. He is just like the play starts, and you think like he's just completely like forgotten that anything's going on before he then suddenly just comes out of it. It's so odd, and I don't know if that may be why he's stepped late to some plays, which is an issue, and then sometimes he's susceptible to over pursuits as well. He's a excuse me, he's a former edge who's converted to off-ball linebacker, so a former edge that has not amazing amounts of pass rush arsenal, which is a concern if you are going to line him up out there. You'd like to see a little bit more out of him out of that. Maybe that's why he moved inside as well. But man, if you can develop some of the things, because I think a lot of the cons are coachable. If you can develop those, I think he could be a real asset. Total athlete. Really, really damn impressive. If somewhat overshadowed by some of his peers in this class, but some of the stuff you see on tape is absolutely awesome. Awesome. That if you can keep working on that with him, I think you can get a real, real nice player out of it. Again, just a +1 for me in terms of the projection for Jake Golday. You just iron out some of those issues, and man, you got a stud on your hands.
Interesting. What testing were you saying? Because looking at his testing, he's kind of mid, isn't he? I mean, the vert was nice, 39-inch vert, which was 90 percentile, but everything else is
I said, let's see, 71st percentile 40. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
6'2". Broad jump 89th percentile. 125.
Oh, that must have been his pro day. That's not the. It's not on his.
Oh, that's his combine on here for me. Oh, maybe it was pro day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not on his mock draftable, which they only do the pro days, right? The officials.
Yeah. But no, I think everything, most everything other than his bench was certainly above 60%. So yeah, other than his shuttle, I think his shuttle was kind of low. But other than that, he did some really nice testing.
I was surprised that he was an edge because he played more in overhang than I was expecting. So you kind of expect him to be good in coverage playing there. So that was interesting. I don't know if he played edge outside linebacker where he was dropping, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. Did he transition in college, or did he transition in high school? Because
I think it was.
I only watched tape for 25 for him where he was playing linebacker, but it seems like linebacker was the 2025 was his breakout year. So I was wondering if he moved and then broke out, and that's why he's getting touted high. Thought he looked a little slim. The 53% up weight kind of backs that up. Not a usual looking. Funny enough, they since he got a penchant for these guys. They had Darian Breathers a few years ago, similar sort of looking character, tall and rangy. He uses his length well in blocking, but I thought capped by a lack of strength and a lack of length, which shows up 37 percentile arm, 42 percentile span. Maybe that's why he wasn't going to make it as an edge. Blitz speed is good, I thought, when he comes downhill. I thought he had fluidity, could change the direction and loose hips. So that you like. The sideline speed, including like stop and go burst to combat cutbacks and feints, like in the zone game, was good. But I didn't like that he didn't hit with power. Seems to he flies into tackles and wraps up, but you don't see people getting knocked back. So I want a bit of hitting power from a guy this tall. Doesn't seem to carry through his hits. I don't know if you saw the Kansas game. Saw a lead blocker knock him on his ass. He did, however, manage a shoelace tackle on the rusher from the ground. But it just made me worry he's going to get run over in the NFL, and does that limit him to a kind of dime backer role rather than that, Mike linebacker? Is he kind of a coverage backer, which is weird for a guy that played edge? And what do you pay for that? Can he shed? I'm not sure he can stack and shed. Like you said, I didn't see much bend, but I did see him have success dipping and ripping, but not really through edge, more through kind of speed. I didn't like him as his run defense is okay, but it's not great. But his mock draftable comp is 92% Fred Warner. I mean, you'd love to see that one.
My God, yeah.
Yeah, the 90 percentile vert maybe into that. But outside of that, more mid-testing, which needs to add mass and strength, which might take away from his movement skills. Is he a coverage backer? Is he fast enough to make a difference? Does he blitz well enough to be a dual threat guy like Peyton Wilson? The lack of experience means he drifts and isn't in the right spot at the right time quite often. I don't know. Again, we're going to disagree. I didn't see enough of an impactful player. There's a lot to improve. Strength, anchor, coverage, instincts, run diagnosis. I think maybe some people are trying to see him as this year's Schwesinger. I think he's a long way away from being Schwesinger. I think he's kind of a tweener that maybe I don't think he's going to work out. But I could well be wrong. But yeah, so I'm -1 actually again. So there we go. Another disagreement. Interesting.
Yeah. I think I certainly see the cons. I just think, I think it's just more the projection of him and just like you iron those out. And I think, the great. I do think he is still a great athlete. Testing is not. I think the testing is still very good. If not, this is the problem. Sonny Styles might have just blown all testing out of the water with everybody. But I still think it's really solid, and get some of the coverage issues and whatnot out of, or rather just the over pursuing and the maybe the inexperience of it all. You kind of iron those issues out, and I think you've got a hell of a player on your hands. So
what I find weird is his grades. Run defense is 90 for last year. Pass rush 61 for a former edge player. What the hell's going on here? Doesn't make any sense. Coverage 77. So for a former edge player, his pass rush is the weakest part of his game. That makes no sense.
You can probably see why he was moved inside.
Makes no sense at all. 5-year player, 3 years for Central Arkansas. I don't know if you said that. But the grade's been consistent. He's been consistently decent in college. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I didn't see the upside, or if it is, it's going to take a while to get there. So that's why I was take someone else over this guy. Too much of a prediction, too many moving parts to his game. That's where I am.
Good. 2 disagreements.
Nice.
Very interesting.
Nice. I think that means it's me, right?
It is indeed.
So let's go to Missouri. Whoops, not that. Josiah Trotter. Is it Josiah? Josiah, yeah. Josiah Trotter.
Josiah.
Out of Mizzou, 6'2", 237. Son of former Eagles All-Pro linebacker Jeremiah Trotter, and brother of current Eagles player Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So bloodlines all over the place. Now, this dude is a hard-hitting run defender. Average size for a linebacker, but plays bigger and tougher than the measurables suggest. He makes good decisions, and he can definitely set an edge in the run game. He's that guy that's just going to be patient, be disciplined, be an enforcer, not going to let a guy cut inside, going to pursue outside. Exactly what I want to see. Hits with power, good strike punch, good punch power. I like how he fights through contact. You can tell he's played a lot of football in and around the box in that nasty chaos, and he brings a real tough edge, a mean streak to your team. Solid tackler. People seem to fly off him. Almost elite contact balance. Like if 2 people come clashing together, it's the other guy that's getting knocked around or falling off. This guy's continuing with his business. Doesn't seem to get put off course. Extends well through blocks. Explodes into tackles, and can blitz, arrives with power, like I've said. It is a little stiffer than all the other guys we've talked about. I'd say he's the stiffest out of the dudes that we've talked about so far. To be expected. I don't think he's as stiff as Nick Bolton was, and he's been just fine, but he is a stiffer cat. Just not the kind of, switching hips, fluid mover. That's not his game. He's downhill, he's power. And the coverage instincts on top of that aren't as good as the run instincts. But hey, I see him as like a Landon Roberts kind of usage guy, downhill, enforcer, box player, blitz weapon. PFF grade backs this up, 47.9 in 25, so pretty poor in coverage. But hey, you can't do everything. Run defense grade was 89.2, rush grade was 81.6. One of the few prospects in this whole draft class I've seen do the bench press, 27 reps, 87 percentile. Younger dude, about to be 21, only played 2 seasons, already a commanding presence that made a massive impact on the team. Love this guy, absolutely love it. +2, Red Star.
Red Star!
That was coming. I could feel it.
The intensity was there.
It was building, certainly. I'm not going to disagree with you on this one, only in that I might slightly be not as high as you are, but I still love this guy, man. As everything you said, absolutely on point. Like, he is just a fireball in the run game. You love to see it. He hits you like a freight train. It's fantastic. As I say, some really nice testing, relentless downhill threat. The initial pass rush moves are very nice as well. He could, when he could possibly stand to learn a little bit more in terms of an arsenal. But man, yeah, you said about him looking bigger than his measurables. Certainly, I picked up on that as well. I thought he played a hell of a lot bigger than that. He is. So I've got it down here. He's a redshirt sophomore. So he's only got 2 years of college experience, which it's slightly unnerving when you haven't got as many snaps to have a look at there. But had a nearly 85% completion rate allowed against him in 25. So that coverage stuff needs work, certainly. I don't know if you watched the Alabama game. I think there were issues of hesitancy there. Their first touchdown, he should be reacting quicker to that. Certainly picked up on there. Does have some stack and shed struggles at times as well. But by the end of it, I was almost nitpicking with Josiah Trotter. He's a little bit of a pass down project, but you sit him, you let him learn for a bit there, you put him in an obvious rundowns, and you absolutely get him smashing downhill. You could have a winner if he develops more around that as well. Certainly in the mold of his family members. Big tick for me. He's a +1 for me, so not quite the +2 that you put on him. He's definitely your guy, but absolutely love this guy. And I think he could be really, really fun and really awesome to watch in the NFL.
Completely agree. Yeah, he's going to be fun. And for the pair of us love Landon Roberts, and that's the mold this guy plays in. Right.
Yeah. Now that you say it, now that I think about some of the hits downfield for Trotter. I can see that a little bit now.
Yeah. So I've always said, going back to my GCSE PE exams teaching, we were trained about, it's not just about how good a person is, but it's a level of involvement. And you said about his age and his experience, but the level of involvement for a second year player, the game runs through Josiah Trotter, and that to me is worth gold. Just you're a player that takes over, and you want your NFL team to be full of these guys that just take over games. They're not passengers, they're not only playing when they feel they've got an opportunity. They're taking the game by the bull of the horns, and they're trying to win it for you. And that's something that isn't intangible, but you can see it on the tape. So it's not one of these mercurial things. It's something you can actually see. And in every game you watch of him, he is, your eye is drawn to him. And that's to me, I was so close to going Rodriguez, but just the level of involvement. And Rodriguez has got it too, to be fair. But both of them are the very hyper-involved players. But there was just an edge, a nastiness about Trotter. And then you add in the bloodlines, dad, brother. We just think, I mean, you can see it. You can see the career path. So, give me Trotter.
Probably wise to say that he had a knee injury in 2023, so that kind of led to the redshirt year as well. It's obviously not really affected the rest of his career so far, but certainly something to keep in the back of your head. But only if you had watched the tape of the man on the left in that picture on the live stream, Chris McClellan, you might have picked up on Josiah Trotter even sooner.
Right.
Because I did notice Trotter at times when watching the McClellan tape, certainly.
Yeah. Okay, where are we going to next?
Okay, just very finally on Josiah Trotter, he's 64 on the consensus board. Would you take him at 53?
Yes, absolutely.
I figured you would. I think I probably would. I am a +1. I think I would be excited if he was the pick there. Despite what potential needs elsewhere, but I think he'd make a great presence on this team. So I think that would be a very nice pick up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to pair him, imagine pairing him with Peyton Wilson. That would be perfect. You could trade Patrick Queen to the Cowboys in that case, I think, if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's go over to a familiar place to us all. Let's go to Pitt, and a man that we have had in the building, quite literally, because we share the building, but also he's stepped over the line to talk to the Steelers as well. And that's Kyle Lewis out of the University of Pittsburgh. Redshirt junior, 22 years of age, 6 foot, 220 pounds. So immediately you see that he is an undersized linebacker presence. Second percentile weight, 220 pounds. So there's definitely going to be the talk about, is he going to move to make a move potentially to more of a safety role? That seems like that might be the case if he doesn't, bulk up and what have you. However, what a player. I really, really enjoyed watching Carl Lewis, as I did a lot of these guys, but in particular with Carl Lewis. I mean, terrific at finding the gaps to generate pressure. If you watch the Georgia Tech game, he's an absolute demon at finding those gaps. Absolutely awesome. Brilliant closer. Excellent sideline to sideline speed as well. Love to see that. Really fluid mover in coverage. Generally, I think really nice coverage player as well. Again, my PFF is letting me down, so I can't remember exactly what the grades were on there. But in general, I just felt like he felt really, really solid in his coverage play. Processing, fantastic, particularly coming off the line of scrimmage to sniff out the ball. He was somewhat of a standout at the Senior Bowl as well. Had a very impressive Senior Bowl week there. Yes, he's undersized. Yes, in 2025 he was less productive than he was in 2024, so a little bit of a down year productivity wise. And has only had those kind of 2 full seasons of action. One game that really kind of worried me a little bit about him and kind of pushed him down just a little bit was the Miami game. Now, Miami have a hell of a talent in Malachi Tony, a name that you will probably hear in the not too distant future. This kid is fantastic. And he made Carl Lewis look pretty bang average in that game, getting beaten underneath constantly in that. You know, Tony, if he is if he goes in the projection that he is, he's probably going to be a top 10 pick in the future. So you know, that's the sort of caliber of talent we're talking there. But that's, you know, still a little bit of a concern. You know, if Carl Lewis is going to be coming up against these top talents in the NFL, you've got to watch out for that. Probably will get a little bit washed out in the run game as well because of that size. Who's the is it Ivan Pace? Who's that kind of undersized? I think
Micro
possibly
Mouse.
similar.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah, similar measurables.
Very
I think
different cat though.
Yeah, different, but yeah, it's particularly. But you know, you talk about undersized linebackers, then you know that's.
Yeah, I think he's an anomaly though. Like, so I loved him. He was like the ideal, like perfect linebacker tape, like, you know, run fit, stack and shared box play, but just tiny. But turns out did translate, and I think he's an anomaly. Not the same as Carl Lewis. Anyway, sorry, Carol.
Yeah, but yes, you know, if he finds a future home in a different position, you know, with the coverage skills that he has and the terrific speed, I think he could absolutely make that work. But either way, I think you're getting an absolute dog. A really, really good football player who will give it his all, is clearly having fun out there doing it as well. You can see his enthusiasm for the game. It's infectious. Could be a really intriguing chess piece for a team to use. I am a big fan of the little guy. And I am very intrigued to see if the Steelers really do feel that way as well. I'm a +1 on him, you know, another +1 in this class. But Matt, he just brings a great intensity and enthusiasm to the game that you love to see. Maybe the projection is a little bit more worrying than it is with some of the other guys that have +1 here, but I'm banking on the dog mentality for him and how you could potentially use it.
How would you use him?
That is the key question. I think ultimately the thing is that those coverage skills are really good. So I think as a, you know, box safety, like maybe as a nickel, I think that could work really nicely. It's just the physicality of it all as well, and if that translates.
I'm gonna level with you. As a linebacker, I'm -2. I don't think he's a linebacker. I don't think he's a linebacker. I think he's a dimebacker / safety, and at that, I'm at value. So I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I don't know. He's just underweight coverage dude with great movement skills. I mean, he's in the overhang, you know. So often for Pitt, they'd have 2 linebackers and then this guy in the overhang. Do people know what the overhang is? Like it's like the equivalent of like playing in the slot in the NFL, but because the hashes are different. We could get super nerdy now. The hashes are different in college, right? They're wider. What does that mean? It means the ball is offset to one side of the field more than it is in the NFL. The hashes are much narrower. So then in the college, you get more of a field and a boundary side. Boundary side, you get more space. It's actually more interesting. The difference is it creates some different matchups. So you get a very tight side and a very open side. So because of that difference, you get an overhang position, which overhangs the field side, which is the open side. So you tend to get linebackers that play with better coverage skills. Difficult for them to then convert into the NFL because what do? They can't play middle linebacker. They can't play edge. What we have to find a role. They're not quite a box safety. It's kind of a weird role. This is like the classic. What do you do with this super talented overhang linebacker? That's what Carl Lewis is. Really, really nice change of direction. Nice loose fluid hips. Great sideline to sideline speed. So there's definitely skills here. But it's a slightly different game in the NFL, and I don't know where you fit him in. But five years ago, when the Pass Happy League, the Fangio, Shell, everyone back defense, you can find a way of getting him on the field. Now teams are going box heavy, tight formations, loads of tight ends, fullbacks are coming back in, lead blockers, zone, outside zone stretch game. You're going to get matchups where you've got a fullback coming around the edge and meeting Carl Lewis. He's just going to run through him like he's a paper bag. That's my worry. That's my real concern. So do you then convert him to safety, and that's a projection? But back to Lewis. I don't think he doesn't hit with power. He's not going to stand people up. Why I don't like him as a linebacker? He's not going to stand people up. Can't close gaps. More likely to go low with a shoulder, like he's in space. So he hits at the line like he's playing in space, if that makes sense. So like he flies in and tries to shoulder someone out of the sideline, but you're playing in between the tackles. At that point you just need to be nasty and get up in underneath someone's face mask and just stand them up, stop them making progress. He doesn't do that. He flies in with a shoulder and he might get run over or get deflected. That needs to be cleaned up if he's going to stay at linebacker. Technique thing, but indicates a lack of power or a lack of aggression. And you combine that with, I don't like his contact balance. Seems to get knocked off course coming downhill. So he's a player that wants to go backwards the whole time. Against the run, I thought he took poor angles when he is playing in the centre. He lets the rusher just run straight past him when he's coming downhill. I don't like him one-on-one at all. Doesn't have any stack and shed. Tries to talk rather than use more kind of long arm techniques of push-pull and move. Gets mixed results, but at his size, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I hate his tackling. Doesn't explode in or wrap up with power. He's like a space hitter, which when you're playing overhang is fine because that's what you're doing. You're playing pursuit. You're playing catch up. I just don't know how you get him on the field. The size puts me off. The grades are all okay. Some people really love him though. Like you like him. I've seen people really, really love him. There's good vert, there's good broad testing numbers, but I didn't really see that explosion on the field. I'm wondering if you just straight up move him to safety and he makes a lot more sense there, or you kind of move him into a kind of Petrie kind of role where he becomes like a nickel back with a bit of, but I just didn't see the blitz skill to be like Petrie. So I don't know. What should I do? I'm -2 linebacker. I'm at value at safety. What is he? 74. I'm probably -1. I'll go -1.
Yeah, I think -1's the sensible one there for out of that. I still think there was some nice ways of generating pressure through the gaps though. I don't think the blitz stuff was as bad as all that. And I think the Georgia Tech tape was an absolute prime example of that. I guess it's just the projection of can he do that at the NFL, and that is certainly the worry. I think I'm just banking on the fact that he could be a really intriguing kind of piece to move across a defense and, see, particularly early on, to try and find his footing to see where it works. And if it doesn't work at linebacker, fine. Maybe it'll work at safety. I just think there is a way that this guy can make a difference in the NFL in some way. It's certainly difficult to project, but I think he's too talented not to at least have that chance to make a name for himself.
Why do you think people are so excited about him? Is it the highlights? What is it?
Could be. It's just, tested really well, and I think he's just an energetic Duracell bunny sort of a player. I think he's a very fun watch. I think he's one of the more fun watches of this whole thing. Is it a case of rooting for the little guy a little bit as well? Maybe, I don't know, but I think there's just the coverage skills I think are fantastic. and that could really benefit him if he does move to a safety role. But he's such a great mover. You saw it in the Senior Bowl week as well. He was just all over dudes. Like, he was not letting them get out of his grasp.
Do you think there's a chance I look silly here?
There's a chance I look silly. Like, there's a chance he absolutely gets just washed out of the NFL, and he's just too much of this tweener that doesn't make an impact. That's absolutely possible, 100%. But yeah, I'm just banking on what I have seen on the tape, which for the most part I thought was really, really promising. As I say, the outlier being that Miami game, and I think that is probably the worst you will see of Kyle Lewis, particularly as an off-ball linebacker.
Sounds like Carl Lewis, the great Olympic athlete. So
It's difficult. Kyle Lewis.
It's because Simon was high on Micro Mouse. What's he called?
Ivan Pace.
Pace, and I wasn't. Is this a Simon guy? I don't know. Simon seems to like vibes, doesn't he? And football guys.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but he's good. He is good vibes, isn't he?
Oh, he's totally good vibes. Like, yeah, as I say, you see him having a ton of fun. I mean, look at the picture that you've got up of him at the moment. Like, is he doing the near sort of thing?
I don't know
with
what
his
he's
hand
doing.
now?
He's doing the L. Yeah, he's looking up. He's looking up to Rosette. Or is he looking at himself on the scoreboard? Yeah, he is, isn't he?
He could well be. Yeah. So yeah, he has.
So
you see it. He has a ton of fun on the field.
Yeah. All right. Next guy. Is it me?
Cool.
I think
it is you. Yes.
Okay. This is a first name I'm going to struggle with. Let's see where he is on the consensus board. He is next. Jay-Sean. How do you say it? Jay-Sean?
I think it's Jay-Sean.
Jay-Sean. All right. Jay-Sean Barham out of Michigan. 6'3", 240, which is getting back to more normal linebacker size here than the Micro Mouse we were just dealing with. 1 second. Let me deal with this. I'd like to get the picture up. There we go. Mean looking picture there. You can see that one. Transferred from Maryland. Maryland guy. We know that the Steelers had links. Well, certainly Tomlin did, and maybe those links.
Yeah, I was going to say, is the days of Maryland players now long dead?
Transferred from Maryland as a linebacker, but slowly started to play more edge at Michigan. I actually had to dig around and find last year's tape to find him actually playing linebacker. Now, I think this is an interesting guy for the Steelers because you could see him playing outside linebacker, not as an edge player, but as actually what outside linebacker used to be, as in a linebacker that can rush the passer. Because he worked out with the edges at the combine, and there's a chance he declared he wanted to be an edge, like in the same way that Arvell Reese wanted to be an edge. But I think he's a linebacker. His frame is interesting. He's another upside down Dorito guy. Reminds me of Dorian Williams, the guy that I loved in the draft a couple of years ago, 3 years ago maybe, that ended up getting drafted for the Bills, and you're just starting to see making an impact in the league now. Athletic, tough, physical hitter, brings big hits to the gap game, crunches backs when he meets them, has burst from space, and as a rusher, long arms help him sort through traffic, the 76th percentile arms, nice punch, good hand placement as a rusher. His bull rush, has got a bull rush that could be developed. Not often you say that about a linebacker, so that's something from his edge side of his game. But he definitely can play linebacker. I mean, he's got good vision in the run game, 90 PFF run grade on PFF backs that up. 4.6 speed, not elite for a linebacker, but certainly not bad. And you'd love the motor. And I just find him a really interesting Steelers-specific guy. Versatility makes him very, very appealing as a linebacker. You could move around your front. You can rush the parts. You can mug him up. Like move him up in between the center and the guard, or tackle and guard. Definitely a weapon. You can develop him, stay on the field. I think he's another impact guy. He generates highlights. So I really like this guy. The coverage may not be the smoothest, but he looks better than your average edge doing coverage. He looks better than Highsmith did in his college tape. Highsmith was a 4-3 down edge player. and he sort of doesn't look terrible these days in coverage when he does drop. This guy, you could play him on edge as an edge, as your sink, your sink edge with if you've got your rush edge on the other side. He could definitely fill in coverage. So it's a broad profile that perfectly fits the 3-4 scheme. So I think he should be way up on the Steelers board compared to where he would be on a 4-3 team. He's a bit high. He's a bit high-hipped in his back pedal. He's a bit stiff-hipped, but I don't think that's too much of a problem. He needs to be tamed. He always goes for the kill. He goes for the the destroy shot. He comes in like a Shaheed drone. He just wants to take out your gas station. That could be tamed. He could be a little bit more patient. And he's not the best guy in space with a guy running at him, like breaking down. I was talking about it earlier. Looks a bit hesitant, looks a bit scared to commit. And sometimes you see a guy, make a shake and bake move and blitz past him. 70% missed tackle rate, 61.6 tackle grade on PFF kind of backs that up. So, I think he's not going to be your middle linebacker. He's going to be your second linebacker, And there is something else, which I'm going to pull up on the stream here.
I think I know what this is going to be.
There was an incident, definitely a incident that appeared to show him headbutting a ref versus Ohio State. Luckily for him, he barely made contact. I can't really tell. I've watched it a few times. It was a near miss, either sort of glancing blow. If he had made contact, there would have been claret everywhere, broken nose, awful. I think the fact that he missed it, hang on, let me just paste this photo in so people can see what I'm talking about. If he connected, he would have definitely been ejected. It didn't. He just ended up with unsportsmanlike conduct, but definitely a red flag to work out. But he is 86 on the big board. I really like this guy. I think he's Steelers specific. Give me a +1, priority target. Just need to work out if he is that much of a diddlo. Why are you headbutting a ref? But what do you think? What do you think about? Now let me get the name right here. What do you think about Jay-Sean Barham? I mean, I'm slightly scared they do draft him. That I'm going to have to say that name every week. But go on.
yeah, exactly. I think he's probably the ideal guy for the sound drop of he's aggressive, because he is aggressive for better or worse. He is definitely a really physical, aggressive player that you love to have when he's playing, but he gets frustrated quite a lot. He's had 6 penalties in 2025, and he gets up in people's faces. He will make it known that he is not happy, and he will even do that to officials. I remember this happening at the time as well. I remember everybody was talking about it. It was a weird one because that's part of the replay. So nobody saw it live, but flags were flown. It was like, oh, what's going on here? And then you look at the replay, and it's just like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing that. I know you didn't really make a lot of contact, but you should not be making any sort of head movements towards officials. You do that in the NFL, they're gonna rip you to shreds.
The photo looks worse than the video, right? The photo,
exactly.
It looks like he's making contact. The video, it looks like he just kind of goes to headbutt him and misses.
Or it's like an Eskimo kiss almost. Yeah, it's a little brush of the nose.
Yeah.
But you're going to get the flag called on that. Absolutely.
I'll be interested to know what Rich thinks of that, because he's always got a strong thought about I don't want that guy on my team or not. So.
Exactly, yeah. But as you rightly said, played a lot off that outside linebacker sort of role. And the 17.1. It was weird because he was 17.1 missed tackle rate this year. It was only 5.9% last year.
And he was playing linebacker that last year.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just considerably higher. And
where would you play him? Would you play him at edge, or what do you think? What do you think his best position is?
I think I would. I think it's very much, as you say, I think it's very much like the Reese projection. And funnily enough, I think some of the issues are coverage, which I thought was some of Reese's issues, and then the other part of it is the inexperience of playing there, as being an off-ball linebacker. So it does make him a little bit of a weird tweenerish sort of pick. Good player, certainly. Good instincts, patient, burst, change of direction looked awesome. Really like that. Really liked his footwork in that respect. It's just, it's a weird one in terms of where he's going to end up playing, because I think there's, significant cons in both elements.
But isn't that tweener exactly a role you could fit onto the Steelers?
It could well be. It could be. I don't know how. I think particularly early on as well, I just don't know how that looks. And it doesn't worry me too much of a degree, but I am at value with him. If he's there, and I'm thinking to myself, if I want a really nice player, and I'll figure out later what exactly his role is, I think he fits that mold perfectly. But if you're a team who really wants to be able to get him on the field and know exactly what he's going to do, I don't think it's kind of like Reese, where I think Reese is such a significantly good athlete that he can make it work wherever potentially, and I think you can use him in a lot of spaces. I don't think Barham's quite that. He's definitely not to the skill set of Arvell Reese.
Don't you think he's a guy that you could play up as edge, but really secretly he's your linebacker?
Like, you can drop it, as you say, as a drop.
Ones, those ones where we see TJ Watt dropping, and we're like, oh God, why is he? You could almost use him as a weapon that the team expects you to drop him, and then you rush him like that. I can see a role for that. Maybe second down, second and long, or third down. Definitely, you could rotate him in. I think. I don't know.
I think you could. I think you could. I think you absolutely could. I just wonder what the projection of it is for it. That's all. And just with that and the kind of aggression issues, calm him down a little bit. He's not a Didlow, I don't think.
No, he's just an arsehole.
But he could potentially have. Yeah, exactly.
But don't you want arseholes on your defense?
Yeah,
like Mike Mitchell and those kind of guys, just bad dudes. Yeah. I quite like that, my defense to be full of bad dudes.
Yeah. Could well be. Yeah, you want bad dudes in the right way, obviously.
Yeah, in the right way. You're not headbutting refs, but
yeah.
Stephen chips in saying, RU also went to Michigan's Pro Day.
Yes, very interesting. So, again, did he have any questions about Max Breeton? I know it's not his area, but...
it's not all about Breeton,
No, it is for me.
Okay.
Because obviously, they had Derek Moore as well, who I as kind of we didn't talk about him on the Edge episode. He's probably one of the highest graded players that I haven't talked about on the show. I am going to try and get a look into him for my top 100 board, because he is quite high consensus. So I want to have a look at him. But obviously, he's alongside Barham in that Michigan defense. So that could be a couple of guys that RU's been looking at.
RU. I'm not ever going to get used to that one.
CJ, RU.
Right, over to you. Where are you going?
Over to me. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I'm going to finally talk about someone that I wasn't particularly high on.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to welcome officially to the Tampa Beige roster a man by the name of Deontay Lawson out of Alabama. 23 years of age, 6'3", 226 pounds. The key thing, first and foremost, to know about Deontay Lawson is that he tore his ACL in 2024. He had quad issues in 2023, and he has had various in-game exits for injuries. Not good. Not good at all. What are the positives? Only one penalty across 5 years.
Jalen Waddle of linebackers. Sorry.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Only one penalty across 5 years. I'd see that. Good discipline. Good zone awareness, good pre-snap judgment, patient, got some good physicality to him. That was kind of where it stopped for me in terms of the pros. He's 23 years of age, so a slightly older prospect, 226, not the biggest frame in the world, 16.3% missed tackle rate. Didn't like that. Not as explosive as I thought I might see for a guy who's a little bit undersized as well. Didn't really see much of a burst out of him. Needs to work up on the stack and shed. Is he a guy who needs to bulk up potentially? I don't know if that would hinder him. I think that would actually probably help quite a lot. I don't think the speed was anything too specifically, eye popping there. Where if you bulk up, I think could actually benefit you for the role that you're playing. There's plenty that's all right on the tape, but nothing staggering. The production kind of backs that up. It's kind of minimal. And then you had that really lengthy injury list. And that concerns me to the point where I'd just be looking elsewhere. So, yeah, I'm a -1 on Deontay Lawson. I'm not really interested in grabbing him and having to constantly worry about injury woes, as well as trying to develop a guy who's already 23 and he might have already hit the peak. And Alabama as well, you would hope that coming out of that, he's a physical player certainly, and I think playing in the SEC helps that. But it's 226 in the NFL. I'm a little bit concerned about that anyway. And just was not high on the guy at all. So welcome to Tampa Beige. You're going to be one of those sort of doldrum players within the roster. It's not all bad, but it's not all good either on the Tampa Bay team. So, welcome to the team, Deontay.
Coverage backer, fair to say, kind of athletic. The testing, I just checked it out. Not much testing. Another guy, we've got the absolute minimum height, weight, arm length, hand size. So they let him measure him, but no testing at all. So is that injuries? Is that fear of bad testing? What's going on?
I don't know, because torn ACL was in 24. I think he did have a full 23. He only benched at his pro day, and even that wasn't good. 34% on bench. So just again, is it a guy who feels like that's going to affect his stock? I don't think much else could at this point, to be honest. But yeah.
One sack. Yeah, I don't know. Nice mover in space, I thought. Pretty agile. Some nice footwork when blitzing, but seems to dive at feet rather than power through tackles. Did think he broke down pretty well in space, but I've got questions about his vision. Seems to go to the wrong spot, or is like a tick too late against the run. Did you find that? Like just
not as much in the tape that I saw. I actually thought some of the awareness was pretty decent. As I say, I think it's just the lack of explosivity. That's a really hard word to say. That maybe kind of led to some of that. But for the most part, I thought he was making some of the right decisions.
Okay, I thought he overcommitted at times, or was late, which is a horrible balance to be in. It's like, is he overcompensating for one or the other the whole time and making mistakes? I thought he made a lot of plays, but finished virtually none of them. Like, just, gets to the ball carrier but slips a tackle. Makes a play on the ball but drops it. One of those guys. It's just really frustrating. Like, you're in the right place, but you just don't bring it home. And another thing, thought he lacked speed to power. He's got the speed, just can't convert it. So he just arrives like someone's thrown a wet lettuce at a wall. It's like, I need a bit more power.
Well, that probably contributes to the 16.3% missed tackle rate as well. Is a lot of that.
Poor angles, poor resistance to blocks. Can't fight through. Can he shed? Don't think so. Don't like him versus the run at all. You mentioned the injuries. Falling target, -1 for me. Yeah, I'm with you. Didn't particularly like him. Tampa Beige, I'm not even sure he'd make my Tampa Beige. Not that I have a Tampa Beige, because that's your corner, but I think he's Tampa. No thanks.
I think he's just dull enough as well to.
He's
to
very
make the
dull.
team.
Yeah, and sometimes I do helmet scout a little bit. Or at least I helmet select, where I watch the players from the programs that I think select good linebackers. We'll be talking about the guy next from who I select like that. So I might skip a few guys if it's programs I don't like. Alabama, I'll always watch about Alabama guy. Was disappointed with the Alabama performance of Deontay Lawson. But we shall see.
The SEC's falling off a cliff. No, it's not really. But
right, let's. I'm going to skip here. You see, so my next guy, I'm going to jump down to LSU because I don't care about TCU linebackers. I don't care about Arizona State linebackers. I do care about LSU linebackers. So I'm going to talk about Harold Perkins out of LSU, who is 6'1", 2-2-3, and this guy is a powerful blitzing, versatile guy. Another one that's played linebacker and edge and overhang. So he's got some chops. You could use him in interesting ways, I think. And let me zoom in on that and then select that. There we go. Love that versatility. He's got power through the blocks. I said decent anchor, can cover, can run with tight ends, brings some heat in the blitz game. Looks like he's a handful when he rushes. I thought creates some problems. Decent lateral agility on his rushes, and I think that separates him from a lot of the others in this class. I don't think what other blitz weapons have we been talking about? What other people have we got that can actually get to the passer in this class so far? Who's the best one that we've talked about? Is it my guy from Mizzou, Trotter? Is he the best rusher? Who do you think? I'm wondering if it's Perkins.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we might be we're going to possibly disagree on Perkins.
Okay.
I think that's a good, certainly a good part. I mean, 88 career pressures is fantastic. Certainly enough. He could well be up in that category. Maybe it's just the other stuff with Perkins. I'm unsure about.
But just purely talking about in the blitz game, it's something I didn't really see much out of this class. I like this class a lot. Maybe I'm down on it a little bit more than you. You seem to be a little bit higher than me. But I did think it was lacking in real blitz weapons. I think this guy's the best. Lateral agility is rushes. Can move and wiggle and dodge as he's getting down there. Extends, uses lengths to get off blocks while he's rushing, which is good because he's only got 31 1-inch arms with 23 percentile, but doesn't seem to stop him. Like he's still got some natural ability and smooth hips when he's dropping. So good change of direction, good balance. So he kind of matches that Peyton Wilson kind of profile where you're good going downhill blitzing, good going backwards, covering a pass with good speed. But it's some of the run stuff. Isn't a form tackler, dives at feet, throws a shoulder when a wrap is needed. So it's some of that kind of classic linebacker stuff that he hasn't got. But he can disengage the tackle, but no stack and shed, whatever, can get hung up on run blocks, still mastering the position, and that extends to instincts and angles, which aren't what you look for in your starting linebacker. And he's small, which is going to hurt him. So I think he's a pass rush weapon, coverage, third down, like dime backer guy. I think there's a role for that. He's 127. I love the blitz and the coverage skills. I just hope he can develop as a more traditional linebacker. I was pretty close to sleeping him, but I'm not going to. But it's a priority target. I'm +1 on him. I like him. I really like him, but it's a role player. It's a guy that's special teams, your fourth linebacker that comes on and makes some plays, and you try and work him in. What do you think about Harold Perkins?
Yeah, I mean, the 17 career sacks, 88 career pressures, as I mentioned, yeah, they're very nice. 97th percentile 40, around a 4.45. So speed is certainly not a problem with him. You mentioned the versatility, which you love to see. Clean player as well, no penalties in 25. But, man, I just felt he was a bit unremarkable. I mean, he's, as I say, lighter, tiny hand. He has third percentile hands. Like 8 and something inch hands.
On Mock Draftable, it's got 0 percentile hands. I've never seen a 0. 8-inch hands. I mean, dude.
Tiny hands.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Say what you want about 8 inches. But anyway, and I mean, I think a lot of that contributes as well. And you say about the tackling technique as well. 18.8% missed tackle rate in his career.
I think he's getting run over, isn't he? I mean, he's getting run. He's getting run over. The tackling technique has got a lot to be desired. I thought he was a tick late to react a lot of the time. I watched the old Miss tape, and I think there was a couple of chances for him to really get into Trinidad Chambliss, and he didn't diagnose it quick enough. And you know how much of a threat Chambliss is on the run as well. I felt like he had a ton to work on. He tore his ACL in 2024 as well, so on top of a worrying injury back then, obviously played through in 2025 with little issue, but could possibly come back, and if that triggers again, then a guy who's really explosive in the blitz,
that could really hamper that and could be really concerning for a guy who can run a very good 40 and has a very good speed to him. So, he'll occasionally flash, but not enough to warrant me having a massive interest in him. In all honesty, so he's a -1. I will, I wanted to get the -1 out of the way before I said the very interesting thing about him. His family was displaced by Hurricane Katrina. So yeah, they had to move obviously away. I can't remember where they moved to, but obviously yeah, then coming full circle back, coming to LSU. Really, really nice story. Yeah, relocated from New Orleans to Houston. That was it. So yeah, he played high school in Texas, and yeah, then obviously went off to LSU. So a really nice story.
Katrina, the year the Cower Super Bowl win year, wasn't that year?
I think it was 2006.
Around that time, yeah. So geez, man, that's like he was. What you're saying? He was what? How old?
He was just a baby, I think, at that point. So what is he? He's 20. He's 21. So yeah, he would have been not even 2 years old when that happened.
We're getting old, man. We're getting old. Anyway, all right, okay.
We are. So yeah, there's a guy we disagree on, and the other way around. Right. Perkins is more of a guy for you. I think I saw Perkins almost how you saw Kyle Lewis in a way, potentially, but. Yeah, I just don't think he had.
I think I was by this point. I was just, where are all of the linebackers that can rush a passer, and he was the first one where I thought,
he certainly can. Yeah,
here he is.
Yeah,
this is the one. And after Trotter, while Trotter can do it, it's not really. He's more of a sort of getting down and stopping the run kind of guy. Whereas Perkins, that's his bread and butter, isn't it? Rushing the passer. And I just thought, okay, I can see there's a value to this guy. So that was my angle.
No, fair enough. So when you say obviously you skipped through a couple of guys on there, does that mean you've not watched?
Didn't watch
Elam
him.
Zor?
Didn't watch him.
Okay, so I did watch Elam Zor and Elliott, and I can come back to them. But did you watch the next guy after Harold Perkins on the board here?
No, after this I've gone nuts. So
wow.
Just go wherever you want.
Okay. Well, let me see. Where do I want to go then? Because this is. I tell you what, I am gonna go to the guy after Perkins. I would like to jump back at some point, and I will. But I really, really want to talk about this guy. So this is Bryce Betcher out of Oregon. 23 years of age. Will be 24 when the season starts. An older prospect. 6'1", 233. This is the other half of the fantastically nicknamed Caucasian Collision Unit with his Oregon teammate Dylan Thieneman. Bryce Betcher is a hell of a story, man. Walk on to defensive leader, multi-sport athlete, was selected in the 13th round of the MLB draft in 2024 for the Houston Astros.
Just seeing some baseball pictures here, yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he's got that obviously going on for him as well as this. Again, another really clean player, 0 penalties in 2025. Hard hitter on his downhill blitzes, gets sticky in coverage, seals the outside really nicely as well. Some great examples of that in the first game against Indiana. Has got special teams upside. Has got special teams reps out of the wazoo, really. A ton of those. Tackling technique is really, really nice. I think he wraps up really well. Recovery speed is awesome. Like, there is a massive touchdown saving tackle he makes against Washington, using that speed. His motor is another 24/7 guy. He is always on with it, always active. As I say, 6'1", 233, tiny little bit on the lighter side of things. Older, as we said, less experience because of his baseball commitments as well. The multi-sport side of it can have its drawbacks at times. In terms of production, he kind of did as much in 2025 as he did in 2024, but with double the snaps. so wasn't as productive on the whole as his year in 2024. The arm length issue can come up when there's the inside runs and he's trying to shake off a blocker and he's trying to shed and get onto the back, and it doesn't quite work out for him at times, and I think that's where the arm length concerns start. But geez, Lou, this guy's a firecracker. He's physical, instinctual, relentless. It's a bit of a tougher call with his NFL projection, with everything going on as well. But the ceiling, I think, is really, really high for him. He could be more of a win now team target if the Steelers still truly believe they are a win now team. Then maybe this is a guy that they potentially target. But I think
why is he a win now? Why is he a win now guy?
Well, just because of the age. I think he's probably a 2 contract guy. He's not going to be. By the time that first contract comes up, he's going to be pushing 30, and you kind of maybe you want that more sort of experienced guy in for that. I still think he could potentially be a day 3 steal on this team. He won the Burlsworth Trophy in 2024, which I believe, if I am right, I'll look it up in a sec. I think it's for multi-sport. I'll need to double check that. I could be hideously wrong about that, but I'm sure there was something he won for that. But yeah, first team All-American in 2025 as well. I just really, really like the upside of a really talented athlete that Bryce Betcher is. So I'm a +1 on him. Him and Thieneman are great. I'd love to see them drafted together on the team. That'd be fantastic to reunite the Caucasian collision unit. But otherwise, I'm just really high on Betcher as a whole.
His grades are interesting. 24 was a better year for him, according to PFF.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Why
and as I say, he did. The 25 production slipped a little bit, I think. But yeah, I still really like the upside of him, and I
almost
still
double
think
the
there's some
amount
great
of
stuff
snaps in 25. Nowhere near as good as grades. Although tackling stayed consistent, but serious drop off. So, what do you think? More usage? Is that where? Hang on. This is one where I want to look at alignment. Hang on. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to go out of Zoom. Sorry for anyone watching on their phone. You won't be able to see the stats.
That's all good. I can just double check this Burlsworth Trophy as well.
So box, he played a lot more in the box.
Oh yes, no, sorry. The Burlsworth Trophy, I completely got it wrong. The Burlsworth Trophy is the most outstanding FBS college player who started as a walk-on.
Right. Oh, there
so
you go.
he won that in 2024.
Where do I see the? Usually, I can see the.
See, I'd love to be able to help you here, but recently my PFF has just completely crapped out on me. I do not know what's going on. Every time I try and load it, it just will not load properly.
Really? Since it's been sold or whatever.
It's funnily enough, yes. Like weirdly enough, since people have since Sycamore was kicked out the door, it's
all those nice tweets you've done about Sycamore. That's why.
Maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. It's not obvious why. There's no statistical thing that I can spot as to no usage difference is what I'm saying. Like the snaps have gone up, but then they've all gone up. Like the box snaps, everything's gone up proportionally. So yeah, there's nothing I can help you with there. Well, I didn't watch this guy, but yeah, looks solid. Looks like a solid backer to me from a stats perspective. Measuring's bad, but there's no testing at all, so can't really get much of insight from there. So I can't really add anything. So sorry, you what were you +1?
+1, yeah. Now I just think there's a lot that he does good. I know production wise, and maybe some of I think the grades might be a little bit harsh on him from what I saw, but again, I didn't watch every game of his, so maybe there's some issues in parts, but games I did watch of him, I was very impressed.
Right, I watched 2 more guys. I found my sleeper. I had hoped to watch a few more, but ran out of time, and I also watched Jaden Duggar. So I'll take us to my sleeper, and then you can talk about someone, then we'll talk about Duggar, and then you can run through a few guys. I don't know if you watched him. I was just drawn to the small school. and I'm talking about Red Murdoch out of Buffalo.
Oh, I watched him. I watched Red Murdoch.
Dive.
6'2", 232. Now, fun cat. Downhill, hard man thumper that just plays with serious intensity. Really, really fun tape. Really, really fun. Named first team All-MAC twice, sophomore and junior, 24 and 25. Built like Nick Bolton. Real speed to power cat, can lance through traffic, get to the ball carrier, and when he hits them, they're going to hurt the next day. Great contact balance when he's blitzing. Solid tacker that just seems to have a really solid punch-out game. Set a new NCAA record for career forced fumbles. In just 3 full seasons, in 37 games, he forced 17 fumbles. So that's what he is. He's a ball-jarring dude that is going to cause the opponents trouble. Lacks elite speed, makes up for it with intensity and motor. He is just an intense, involved, nasty mofo. Doesn't really offer anything in coverage. It's quite an easy eval. He's going to be a special teamer, essentially, from day one. And maybe you can carve him an early downs role on defense. Maybe like goal line package, like when you've got 3rd and 5 on the goal line. You can trust this guy's going to jar a ball out, and you've seen that. In fact, that very highlight you can see on his highlight reel. He's done that. He did that for Buffalo, where they're trying to run it in. He forces a fumble, gets a turnover, and saves a touchdown. +1 for me. It's quite an easy eval. You can tell he's not going to be a complete linebacker. Just doesn't have the movement skills, but he's got the jar out ability. He's got the intensity. So there's a role for that. What is he? 140 on the big board. What's that? Like 5th round? Is that? Help me out.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
I've got him at 208 on this big board.
Oh right, well even better value. I'm +1. What do you think?
I was so close to sleepering him as well. Like, yeah, that forced fumble career total is absurd. That is absurd numbers. I know he's doing it in the MAC, but still, like, that is incredible. This would have been Mike Tomlin's dream guy, wouldn't it? You talk about a defense that's based on takeaways. This guy is Mr. Takeaway. Like, good Lord, this guy should be on Uber Eats. He's so good at takeaways. Yeah, just absolute physicality, absolute motor. Did you watch the Kent State game? There is a play in that where he floors his receiver in the middle of the field, just absolutely takes him out, and then he gets all the way over to the sideline to knock the runner out of bounds. Like, it is relentless stuff. You absolutely love to see that. And that's where the forced fumbles come in as well. It's just his relentless attitude towards getting the ball out of his hands. He is just on it. Yes, he's going to be limited, as you say. The coverage stuff is not really there. Doesn't have great long speed. Isn't particularly explosive. Can over pursue at times as well. And yes, he's playing in the MAC. So it's going to be a different kind of cat altogether. Although he did play Minnesota and he was still looking really good there. So that's encouraging. Minnesota's not the highest score, but not the worst by any means. Decent conference there. So yeah, I think that play was still really, really good. If he can bring the talents that he has there to an NFL team and keep grinding out, he's going to be awesome. And he is going to be a fan favorite quickly. I'm a +1 on him as well. As I said, he was in my sleeper. There's a lot of cats that I like in this, and he was in the kind of short list and probably was runner-up to being sleeper behind my actual sleeper. But, do
you think he can play all 4 phases of special teams? Because I just wonder about the movement skills, whether he can. But I think he's definitely in. I think you want him on special teams because just his ability just to jar out the ball he's going to make like Skoranek. That you just need one player that is your initial contact guy that is going to try and torpedo the return man and try and stop the progress and maybe even get a turnover. I'd love him on special teams.
You just don't want to run the ball towards him, do you? When you're on special teams, no chance. Like you want to be avoiding him as much as possible. Just put 10 of your guys on one side and Red Murdoch on the other, and I think the returner will just take their chances with the 10 guys.
We can have another Dirty Red, the second coming.
Dirty Red Murdoch. There you go. It's in the name. It's in the stars.
It is aligned. I think this could be a day 3 pick, and maybe you'll be up there announcing this on the stage by this point. So please, let's will that.
Yeah, let's not go too far, but that would be amazing. If anyone from Steelers Unite does listen to the pod, I'm absolutely up for it. I'll do it. I love this guy, and that would be an amazing late round pickup, certainly. Not without his limitations, but what a player. Red Murdoch is a guy I think is getting a lot of traction as well at the moment. I think now people are getting deeper into this and sort of seeing some of these deeper guys. He's certainly somebody that's getting a little bit of traction here and there.
Steelers have taken a few Mac guys over the years as well. They've not been shy of it.
No.
Rounds. Would you say you're +1? Sorry.
+1, yeah.
All right, where do you want to go next?
So obviously, you say that, and I've watched Jaden Duggar as well, so we will talk about him in a bit. I am going to go right back down to where we were consensus-wise, because I will talk about Mr. Caleb Elam's Orr out of TCU. Who? Exactly. Redshirt senior, 22 years of age, 6'2", 234 pounds. So will be 23 when the season starts, so slightly older. 4.4740, love to see that. Testing for the most part was pretty nice. 4 sacks in 2025. Had 7.1% missed tackle rate this year and less than 10% in his entire college career. So that tackling is fantastic. The technique's really nice on it as well. The speed shows up on tape a lot of the time. You definitely see that kind of sideline to sideline and just burst come out of him. It's really, really impressive to see. Really switches around, is kind of scheme versatile. See him play a little bit on the edge as well. Really, really flits between the two. I think his blitz timing is awesome. Like I think his timing on the way he gets downhill is just bang on. That was one of the parts of the game I was really, really impressed with, particularly against Arizona State. I thought that really showed up well. Strong Senior Bowl showing as well, was a standout there. Kind of, it's weird because the speed is really nice, but I don't think he's the most fluid guy. I think he's a tiny little bit of a lumberer, but a quick lumberer at that. It kind of sounds like an oxymoron in a way. It's just the way he moves is just a little bit odd and tiny little bit clunky, but whatever works for him. I guess if he's still working a 4.47, then you're not going to complain too much. But yeah, not the most fluid guy. Instincts aren't quite there. Takes some iffy angles. Again, for all the good in the Arizona State game, does kind of make some bad decisions in that as well. I think it's just inconsistency at all levels of his game. He's got it in the bag, but you don't see it enough. And I think that also pertains to the motor as well, because I do think it kind of runs hot and cold. I think there are moments where he's probably not giving it as much as you would hope he would. But there are times where he is. Had an injury in his redshirt freshman year, but really nothing of note after that. So nothing too worrying there. I think you should look at Elam's Orr in terms of the blitz stuff, because I think he could potentially be up there along with your boy Perkins. I do think that is one of the stronger parts of his game. He's got mostly coachable cons. If he can work on those instincts, work on his judgment a little bit better, I think he could be a really stellar player. You can rotate him around. expose and plug gaps, get him moving nicely in the open field. I'm interested. I'm still at value. I'm not like really pounding the table for him, but I do think in the kind of position you're talking about, as a early day 3 sort of candidate, I think that's a really nice position for him. I think he could be one of those early sort of almost steal sort of players. I color me intrigued with him. He's definitely on the 0.5 scale of 0, but ultimately I'm landing at value because I think that's probably ultimately where he's worthy of being picked up and where he'll probably go.
You like the testing, the explosion, vertical and broad, right? 94 percentile vert, 84 percentile broad, and the speed. I don't know if you mentioned that, but that's
yeah. The hand size again is a bit of an issue, 9-inch hands, but No, otherwise, I think it's a really, really good, could be potentially great player.
So you can't have a 0.5. So were you 0 or 1?
0, yeah, 0.
You were 0.
Yeah,
you were 0. Okay, fine. Hang on, I just want to look at his production here. 1 second. Give me a second. Maybe this is the guy I should have watched. If you're saying he's the blitz specialist.
That's certainly what I saw. Out of his tape, I think it's just the timing of it was really, really, really nice to see.
Yeah. Okay. 0 forced fumbles, bit of a shame, but
not like a. The tackling's really nice, but he's not a peanut punch guy. He's not. I think his goal is to get the guy down really, rather than take the ball away.
So look at his grades. 1 second. Right. 3 years. Whoops. Crazy. 3 years. Progression every year. The pass rush grade in his final year was a bit down, 66, whereas the previous year, that was his best metric, which is confusing. You'd have to work out what's going on there. Missed tackle rate, yes, dropped down 7.1. Not too bad. Run defense was 89 in 25, so you like that. Intriguing grades, yeah. It's an intriguing guy. Maybe consistency is his problem.
Yeah, as I said, I think inconsistency.
Yeah.
Inconsistency on all levels is what I kind of said, because everything really kind of stood out nicely, but you just didn't see it all the time or enough of it. I mean, if you saw it all the time, it'd be unbelievable. But and I think that's possibly also related to his motor just not being as much as say like Red Murdoch or some of these other guys who are just on, like it feels like 24/7.
Interesting.
But very intriguing prospect. He was in that mock draft that you posted recently.
Yeah.
We saw a mock draft that you saw. He was in the middle of that, and I thought, the range that he was picked in, I thought that was quite a decent pickup there.
Did you say he was injured in 24? I can see the snap count in 24 was reduced quite a lot.
It was his redshirt freshman year.
So he played 3 years, one for Cal, right? It's 700 snaps, and then 24 he played 300 snaps. So maybe it's maybe moving up a division from Cal.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was it. Rather than injury, I don't think there was an injury from what I could see.
So it seems like maybe they used him. Hang on. So they used him in the box. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So they used him in the box a lot more than in the line. So he is. Yeah, they're definitely using him as a linebacker there, but he's. Interesting. Okay. Interesting cat. Yeah, I wish I'd watched him. I should have done. I just didn't have time. Okay.
All good.
Do you want to hit another guy, because Doug is a bit later? So do you want to hit one more guy?
I mean, I'll just have a look, because I don't want to do too many of the at value guys, I guess, but I can kind of just give you
someone else you're interested in, and then we'll hit Duggar.
Yeah, I'll give you kind of brief. I'll go very briefly through a couple of guys that are in the middle here. Keyshawn Elliott out of Arizona State was the next guy on there. I was at value with him. That was more of a, what would you say, minus 0.5, I guess, than anything else. But it's a 0 for me. He's not an electric athlete, inconsistency in coverage, but he was all right. He was just the testing was nice, the sacks were good, but just not particularly explosive. Kind of looked lost in coverage, and missed tackle rate was pretty awful as well. So yeah, I wasn't totally down on him, but I wasn't very high on him either.
Some nice length looking at that photo there.
Seeing what photo you were looking at there. Just
just my own. Look, there was a photo where he was extending and looked like he had nice length. Let's have a look what his testing is. Well, yeah, no 6'2", arm length 19. Maybe they've manipulated the photo. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, yes. There's a really intriguing but again undersized guy that I do kind of want to talk a little bit about here. Torian York at Texas A&M. So he's a junior, 20 years of age. He is a full, he's a team leader on the Texas A&M defense. 6.5 sacks in his career. Downhill runs are timed to absolute perfection some of the time. Just like really, really nice instinctive play there. Great tracker of the ball. I actually said on here, he may have the best instincts in this entire class. Like they are some stellar tracking instincts, and just pre-snap judgment is really, really awesome. Tackling techniques is really good as well. Properly wraps up really nicely. So, a lot of it is absolutely what you want to see. 5'11", 226 pounds. This guy is super undersized. Like he is real small. And so that is incredibly difficult to project.
Oh my God, his spider graph, it looks like the Shard. It's one thing, which is bench press.
Exactly.
Impressive he did it. But the thing is I know the percentiles against the whole class ever, but no one does the bench press anymore. So the fact he's done it, he knows he's going to press well. 25 reps, 75 percentile, but 1 percentile arm length, 1 percentile hand size, 3 percentile height, 8 percentile weight. Yikes.
Yeah, that is the big problem, and it's such a shame because he is one of the smartest players in this whole thing. But I just feel like he's just going to get completely washed out at the next level. Could he be like a really physical nickel? Maybe, who knows? But I think he's the dictionary definition of it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Because I do think he plays like a man who's 5 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier.
Well, that was Ivan Pace's. This is exactly what me and Simon argued back and forth about Ivan Pace.
Exactly, but the problem is he isn't. So it's just, how do you project that? But yeah, his IQ is more than enough for a team to be really interested and think, actually, we could try and make this work with him. It's tough. I'm at value with him just purely on the fact of his size.
90 coverage grade in 2025.
I genuinely believe if he was 3 to 4 inches taller and 10 to 15 pounds heavier, he'd be a +2. Like he is that instinctual and that that polished that I think he could really, really make a difference. It's just, how do you project a guy who's 5'11", 226? It's really, really tough. So that's why I'm at value for him. But Matt, I'm so intrigued to see how you use him at the next level. Like that is a really interesting one. I don't think he's going to be a guy on the Steelers' radar, but wherever he ends up, I'm fascinated to see how he's used.
Yeah, I really, sorry for these guys, don't you? That got everything but the size, everything but the girl. Yeah, it is like, could you make him a dime backer, Sean Spence type?
Yeah, right. But if I'm talking about people who have got great instincts and are really smart, then let me talk about this guy in depth, because I really, really like this guy. Was another sleeper candidate who didn't quite make the sleeper cut, but I am going to talk about a national champion by the name of Aiden Fisher out of Indiana, formerly of James Madison. 22 years of age, 6'1", 233 pounds. Now, the testing wasn't great on him. Again, not the greatest size in the world. Could see him get a bit bullied by linemen. You did see it sometimes on tape, some of the bigger linemen. The footwork is not quite as fluid as you would like. But man, the instincts. Like, you might not get a smarter or better leader of men than Aiden Fisher. He was a team captain on this national championship winning team. That is a massive thing, to have a winning mentality of of a team leader like this. 4 sacks and 2 interceptions in 2025. Like to see that. Special teams upside as well. Got plenty of special teams snaps. As I say, in run defense and in coverage, there are just instincts all over the place that he's doing such good work in terms of his pre-snap judgment and everything. Snappy out of his stance as well. Maybe he's not like the premier athlete, but he's definitely quick out of there and ready to go. Communication is superb. Man, like you are getting the mind of a 10-year veteran in a young man's body here. And, that body could probably do with a little bit of beef. The speed isn't tremendous, so I don't think you're going to be too hampered by adding some mass to that body if you really want to, get to the NFL stage and be that sort of prime linebacker sort of size. I think he could be a quietly important linchpin to a defense in little to no time. Yeah, he's a first team All-American in 24 and 25. First team All Big Ten in 24, 25. Even had third team All Sun Belt honors when he was at James Madison. And obviously, as being a national champion as well. I really like Aiden Fisher. I'm a +1 on him. I mean, where is he on the consensus big board currently? I've got on here. He's quite low down. I think he's in the 176. I've got him here. So yeah, I would absolutely be pushing towards I'd take him in the early day 3. I think he's just such a great mind that if you can work out some of the other issues as much as you can. I know it's somewhat of an issue when it's somewhat intangible stuff, but for what you can do in that respect, then I think you've got an absolutely vital piece of a defense in just a handful of years to come.
Yeah, it looks like an intangible guy from his grades. So, yeah, hard projection. Didn't really test that much either, so more of a football guy than a testing athlete, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's not a premier athlete like some of the rest of it. It is the smarts that are going to win a team over.
Yeah, sometimes these guys can make it. They're kind of, can they or can they not? That's the problem, isn't it? So, are they going to get run over? Right. Is that it for your? Do you feel like you've caught up?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of other guys. I'm not going to go too deep into that were at value. Jack Kelly of BYU.
Some interest with him with the Steelers, wasn't there? I saw a link.
Yes, he did actually have a Steelers visit. Yes, on April the 8th. Sorry. I don't think we pointed out that Harold Perkins had a Steelers visit today as well. Yes, just to go back onto that. But yes, a couple of days ago we did speak to Jack Kelly. So yeah, okay, I'll speak a little bit about Jack Kelly because there is some interesting stuff here. Redshirt junior out of BYU, formerly of Weber State. 23 years of age, 6'2", 240 pounds. Man, like some of it is a little bit wild on here. So 31 sacks in his college career. Like some fantastic production numbers there. Testing was good. Measurables were good. Linebacker practice player of the week at the Senior Bowl. Really stood out at the Senior Bowl. As you say, positional versatility. You see him lined up here and there. Like really, really nice. So that pass rush upside is obviously great with those numbers that you have there. Squeezes through and exploits even the smallest gaps to get to the quarterback. He will find wherever he can to get there. In his time at BYU, didn't give up any penalties as well. Closing speed is incredible. Like really, really nice closing speed. Really keeps the pressure on. Again, the motor keeps up throughout games. Got a clutch sack against Utah late on to help them to victory there. And again, there's another guy with special teams upside. Has got a decent amount of special teams. The biggest problem with him is his tackling. So 22.4% missed tackle rate in 2025. The technique, if you can call it that, is shocking. It's really, really bad. Barely wraps up, goes in with the shoulder, barely gets any purchase on it. For a £240 guy, you would be hoping to get some sort of pop. It just doesn't happen. Like, he is not hitting guys properly at all. Like, you need to get in with a tackling coach straight off the bat. Inconsistent in coverage as well. There's just moments where it looks like he doesn't want to be physical either, which is a bit of a concern. You never really like to see that in places where he really could be. He could be great. Like some of the production and some of the kind of instincts and relentlessness that he has, like he could be phenomenal. But the tackling just brings him right down.
PFF
and
backs that up. 22% missed tackle rate in 25.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's bad. It's really really bad, and it's
57
not,
grade.
You just see it in the technique. It's all technique. It's just so bad. But
strange measurables.
Yeah.
Like he's a yin and yang character. So 10 percentile height, 3 percentile weight, 3 percentile arm, 9 percentile arm length, 93 percentile 40, 85 percentile vert, 89 percentile broad, 92 percentile 20-yard shuttle. So he's super explosive and athletic, just tiny and not got any length and can't tackle. Weird.
But what's the measurables you've got there for him again? Sorry, you've got
which ones? Height and weight, 6'2",
height and weight,
240. Yeah, 10 percentile height, 3 percentile weight. 6'2", 240.
3 percentile?
Yeah, it seems weird, right? But
that doesn't seem right to me.
He's in the edge class. That's why.
Well, that makes a ton of sense then. Yeah, that makes more sense. So maybe he's a bit more of this sort of tweenerish sort of player. God, I was thinking for a second there, like what?
Let's see where he lined up. Hang on. Yeah, I didn't clock that. Well done. Box. Yeah, he seems to be lining up in the box rather than D-line.
Yeah.
So maybe they're playing him in what's their formation there? I'm not sure. That's a weird one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean,
if he was playing edge, you'd expect him to be in the D-line more. So he's obviously playing box, but wants to be. He can't want to be. Surely he can't want to be declare as an edge player.
I don't know. I mean, it's so mad that a guy who's got 31 sacks in his career doesn't know how to tackle. Like
maybe he's an
probably
outside
just knows how to
linebacker
tackle.
candidate. Maybe that's why the Steelers look at him. I did like I don't know if you saw on the stream. I highlighted the fact in the picture he's got the cross on his forearm there. Wears his colours on his sleeve. Obviously BYU, Brigham Young's, the Mormons, Church of Latter-day Saints. So he knows where his bread is buttered. So I like that. Doubles down, pays for the money, gets the ink on the arm of the cross. So fair enough.
Exactly. I didn't realise as well how intense the BYU-Utah rivalry is. I would have thought, with it being, big-time Mormon country, it wouldn't be as intense as it is. But actually, like, they really hate each other. Like, it's fun to watch those games. As I found out last year. So, yeah.
Who's got the edge of the Mormons? Who's the better Mormon team? Battle of the Mormons.
Oh, it's tough, isn't it? Because think about how good BYU have been, but like Utah
tend to have a good defense, right? I don't know if that's true now.
Yeah, and I mean, they had the 2 tackles year as well, and BYU's got an interesting quarterback. I can't remember if he's still there, if he transferred. Bear Bakwa, I think it is. Trying to remember the surname, but he's an interesting one for the future. But it's probably good to talk about Jack. I was at value and Jack Kelly in the end because a lot of it was great, but then the tackling just brought it right back down for me.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a basic skill you need.
Exactly. Yeah. And then guys like Justin Jefferson. Funnily enough, it's talking about a Justin Jefferson in this class, and there is one. The other linebacker out of Alabama. I was at value on him as well. I wasn't particularly wowed by him, but good athlete, good speed, good surprising physicality for a guy of 6'2", 203 as well. He's just a bit undersized, but intrigued me a little bit, but nothing special there. So just thought I'd bring him up as well. Right. But shall we talk about
let's do it.
Your last guy?
Yeah, let's do it. talk about Jaden Duggar, who the reason why is because he was brought in for a visit, right? So,
and he's local guy. He's from
local,
Pitt.
Yeah, he's local visit. So, a dude that I wanted to check out. Tall, rangy, surprisingly tall, right? 6'5", like huge, 242. 1 second, let me just finish what I was doing on the stream there. Trying to get his picture up. At least something. Local visit. Hits with power. I like that. Drive through tackles with explosion. Thought he had some good bend and flexibility, good lateral agility, and a surprisingly good change of direction for a long strider. Seems to be good at breaking down in space, but I couldn't find that much tape on him. So I was kind of struggling to really make a strong eval, but I like what I saw. I thought he was an imposing figure that seemed to have surprisingly good movement skills. What did you think?
I really liked him as well. It was limited tape, certainly, but from what I could see, I really, really liked what I had. He had nice athletic testing as well. Obviously didn't go to the combine, but his pro day testing, I believe, was really nice. Great closing speed. Really, really nice to see. Tracks the ball well. Had middling missed tackle rate, but wraps up very nicely in his tackle. I think his technique is really nice. Plugs up gaps in the run game very nicely as well. 4 sacks in 2025. I just think it's a fact, Louisiana, not the greatest opposition he's up against. When he played against Missouri, there were some issues there. I think he struggled at times against Missouri, but his contact balance I thought was a bit of an issue. I think he's raw, but the work will need to be put in. But with the size that he is and the testing that he has, I think he could really carve out a nice role if he gets coached well. A lot of it is just cons and just a case of the opposition not being as good as it could be. But he could be very intriguing at the back end of day 3. I think he's one of those low floor, high ceiling, and it's pretty damn low or pretty damn high. Like it could go either way for him. But like I'm very, very intrigued by the upside of it. Again, he was in the sort of sleeper candidate role, but not quite for me as a sleeper, even though he's a +1 for me. But he is Tom's sleeper. Now, Tom adds some context here. So he says he's new to the role of linebacker, only just in the past 2 seasons. Previously, he was a defensive back. He has good length and athleticism and has grown more confident and productive over the last year. He'll be a good developmental prospect who can start on special teams. And plus, he is from Pittsburgh. So, I didn't realize that I thought you had to be in a college local to Pittsburgh. I didn't realize if you
just lived there,
grew up. I didn't know that. So that was an intriguing one. I was like, why is he counting against the local visits? But that's why.
I was trying to find a picture on the stream there of showing how big he actually is. I think I found one. It's like there's one of him just mossing a receiver who is, you can see he's got like the clasped hands thinking he's catching a ball, and Duggar is just, I don't know, it doesn't look like he's even jumping. He's just towering over the dude. He's tall, right? He is big. And that's why I was +1. Although I limited tape, I only really watched highlights, so that's why my eval was a bit limited. Like I couldn't really come up with any negatives because I only saw highlight tape where they only show the good stuff. But you can tell he's big, he's imposing, he's got good movement skills. You said he's a DB, that checks out the movement skills. There's something here. So I'm intrigued by him. I'd like to see more. I'm finding the tape a little bit of a struggle to come by this year. Do you agree? Like,
Caddies has been a bit up and down. I think he's just come back recently, but
I do like to watch the All-22. I don't feel like I'm evaling properly without it.
I tell you what's a good one for trying to find. Even if you don't get like full game stuff, you can still get a decent amount of clips. Just look on Twitter. If you search people on Twitter, There's a lot of people who are putting good all 22 stuff out there.
Right, there you go. Okay, maybe that's the answer then, because we used to do a barrel roll, and there used to be fantasy football guys, or they used to do the rocket. They've all gone. I don't know.
Yeah, barrel roll's gone.
Barrel roll's gone. Fantasy football guys are gone. So I don't know.
Custom cut-ups is decent. Yeah, they don't put out as many games, but they're tough, pretty decent.
Man. This year I found it tough to find these later guys. And I've got into my groove now. This is like my 7th year of doing this. I've got used to doing it a certain way, so when I can't do it, I kind of get put out. So
it's a shame. Certainly,
we need access. I don't know how we get it. I'd like access to be able to play the video on the stream. I'd like access to be able to watch the tape that we need. Make this whole process a lot easier going forward, but that's not the way it is at the moment. Hopefully things will change, but who knows?
No,
maybe
you need to become scouts.
Maybe you, with your college watching, you can be videoing some of this stuff for us, taping us games and stuff.
Well, maybe I should be doing that.
Cut-ups. No, not really. None of us have got time.
No.
But yeah, Doug, right. Okay, so that feels like. Let's have a look at some of his measurables there. Did I look at that? No. Let's give him a fair rub here. Hang on, Jaden. Doug.
I didn't get an age for him either. I know he's a 4th year senior, so he must be 22, 23, maybe not 23, but like 22.
No measures on the old mock draftable, so that doesn't help us out. Let's see what's going on PFF.
I mean, he's fairly low down. I mean, what is he on the? He's 328 on the mock draft database board.
425 run defense snaps.
I wonder where he's on the. I'm just going to have a look up because I mentioned the Beast earlier, and I haven't actually referred to the Beast yet.
Yeah, let's use it. You're allowed to use it here. 21st in stops, 52 stops. You like that? That's his size, man. He just gets in the way.
That's great. Yeah,
that's nice. And low in missed tackles. Let's head over to the premium stats and see what he's got there, because those missed tackles seem to be like he's not missing many tackles. But let's see. Missed tackle rate, 11% missed tackle rate. That's nice. Grades are kind of mid-ish. Played for Georgetown for 2 years, then to Lafayette, so he's a 4-year player. You said you weren't sure of his age.
Yeah, so that's
a bit older.
About that, yeah.
23 maybe? Guessing. Stats are grades are kind of mid.
So he's Dane Bauer's Dane Brugler. Dane Bauer? Good Lord.
Where'd you dig that one up?
You tell it's late.
Now here we go. Here's an interesting thing. In 24, he played more snaps at the D-line.
Well, that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, but
you think he maybe drop weight?
B. And then 22 and 23, he played. In 22, he played most of his snaps in the slot. Maybe that's his overhang, or maybe that's nickel. Wow, this guy's got some versatility. I like this guy. He's intriguing. He's got an interesting profile.
He has. He certainly has. Yeah. And as I say, he was another sleeper candidate. But just very, very interesting. I'm glad the Steelers have brought him in because it's a good guy to keep an eye on. He's Dane Brugler's 25th linebacker in his thing. So yeah. Bit further down there, but
interesting. So we get into these later guys and revealing my how I do my research. Here we go. This is what I was looking for before, and whoever it was, snaps by position. This is exactly what we need to see for this guy. All right, where are we? Right, so D line, not that many. So this is in 25. Yeah, he played pretty much in the box. 800 snaps in the box. Where's my year selector? Here it is. Hang on. Right. Let's go back. So we're going back to 24. D-line, yeah. Most of his snaps at D-line. 24. 23. Wow. Yeah, box. Okay. With slot corner.
Yeah, just all over the place.
Yeah, slot corner. So 256 snaps at box, 118 snaps at slot corner, and then his first year. Let's go back again. Yeah, and then slot corner again. So he's moved from slot corner to box. Yeah, so I like this guy. Sign me up for Jaden Duggar. I like the fact they brought him in. A bigger kind of big slot, basically. That's what it sounds like, right? Like linebacker, overhang, big slot. Just we're seeing the league move to bigger dudes in the secondary, aren't we? And I think they've found one here.
There you go. Yeah, hopefully we pursue more of that, because I would be very much in on the idea of
I'm definitely more up for this guy than Jack Kelly.
Yes. Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so there's only one guy left.
Okay.
I sort of said to myself, am I really going to sleeper this guy? Because, I didn't necessarily want to sleeper somebody that was so low down consensus boards. But ultimately, when I had a look at it all, I was just like, I love this guy so much that I want to take the risk and see if he does get into the back end of the 7th, or at least becomes a priority UDFA that just becomes a real stalwart. So his name is Brian Parham, and that's Brian Bryun. Brian Parham from UConn. Played at UConn this past season, was at Washington in 2024, and then San Jose State between 2021 and 2023. So he's a redshirt senior, a little bit older of a prospect. Haven't got the exact age, but definitely, was playing in 2021. So probably about that 23, maybe coming up to 24 sort of range.
You've stumped the mock draft database.
Yeah, he's not on the mock draft database.
Whoa.
He is Dane Brugler's 100th linebacker on the thing as well. I only know that after the fact as well. So I was like, oh wow, to get it on actual number 100 is pretty decent.
Brian
Parham, Brian with a U.
Oh, like the Brian with a U, like Donald Parham. Brian. Okay.
Yes, Brian Parham.
Fine.
Yes. So let me tell you the positives first, and then I'll tell you the glaring issue as to why he may not potentially make it, but I'll tell you why I love this guy. So 12 sacks in 2025, absolutely awesome numbers. 7.1% missed tackle rate, 7 career forced fumbles. He is a really intriguing look because he's almost a little bit bowling ballish, and it doesn't quite match up with the measurable, but I'll tell you why that is in a sec. Blitzing, really good timing on that. Really nice speed, great burst out of his stance. Really love that. Super physical. Tackling technique is fantastic. Wraps up really nicely. If you watch the Delaware game, you'll see one of the most destructive, sickest sacks you'll ever see. He just destroys the man. It is absolute carnage from Brian Parham. Absolutely decimates the man. Always switched on. Positional versatility as well. I saw him lined up in various different areas. I think he could be great in special teams, particularly as a gunner, the way he manages to come downfield. I think he could be really, really nice in that role. And also instinctual in coverage. I think his instincts around there are really, really nice. Here's the problem. 5'11", 221 pounds. And when I say 5'11", I mean 5'11". Like he's no bigger than that. He's creeping up to 6 foot. He's 5'11". The length is not particularly great. Absolutely understand that. Definitely more of this sort of Ivan Pace sort of mold of player. Level of competition, obviously not great. Probably the best he's coming up against was a pretty poor Boston College side. 2025 was kind of an outlier. The grades and everything in the production not as great outside of 2025. Washington was an interesting one because he moved up there from San Jose State, but he just wasn't getting the time. So he redshirted himself. Like he just opted out of playing for Washington early in that season to redshirt and get another year of eligibility to be able to get a starting role somewhere, which he picked up at UConn and obviously just absolutely delivered there. long speed isn't fantastic, not the sharpest feet in the world, but man, there may be a fair few reasons Brian Parham might not cut it on an NFL roster, but my God, there's plenty of reasons he could as well. The production numbers, the excellent blend of blitz brilliance and coverage coolness, versatile, polished, relentless. Despite all the limitations, I would 100% take him late on and find him a role to get involved in some way. I know it may feel unlikely, but I love this player. And that is why ultimately, despite all the other sleepers I could have potentially gone for that probably will get drafted, I'm going to take my chance on a guy that I just really, really want to root for. And that is why Brian Parham of UConn is my sleeper. Oh, I got two.
So deep, man. He's like skulking around the bottom with the prawns, man. He's so deep. I can't. He's not got a PFF profile. He's got nothing on Mock Draftable. Can't find anything about him. Shout out to you.
Oh, just put sacks into the PFF thing. He'll probably appear top. He's just relentless in that case. As I say, he's not playing the greatest of people. I understand that. And I understand that he is a smaller guy, certainly. But holy hellfire. Like, he is just a relentless, on fire sort of player. Like, with good instincts as well. I think the instincts may get overlooked. Probably by the fact that the athleticism may not quite be there. But like, he knows where the ball's going to be, and he can follow it really nicely. So, yeah, and as I say, the physicality. He's a 5'11", 221-pound guy, but he's super physical as well. He'll give it his all. He'll try. That's for damn sure. If it works, maybe not. But you see it in the low missed tackle rate as well, and you see how the way he's able to get the ball out. He's just a disruptor of the best kind, and I just loved watching it. As I say, it is a weird frame he has, but it works to his strengths.
Is it weird, or is he just small? Because his frame in the picture I found, he looks kind of compact, nice thighs, like tight, muscular.
Yeah, it's bowling ball-ish.
Yeah.
I think it's it's the perfect sort of measurables for a bowling ball running back.
Yeah.
Maybe if you took a couple of inches off, but it's definitely.
He looks like an athlete to me. He doesn't look like he's, he wouldn't look out of place on the field. You're just saying he's a bit small.
Yeah, I say the speed's decent. The long speed probably wanes, but the burst and the initial acceleration is great. Is absolutely awesome, and that's what you're leading to the sacks. I just implore you to find. I think if you look through the highlights of Brian Parham, you'll see the Delaware game. I think you can find highlights of the Delaware UConn game anyway.
All right.
Just watch the sack in that game. I think that might be one of multiple in that game. I can't remember.
We're right at the end of the stream. I could risk it. Let's risk it. All right, I'll try and find it.
you can risk it on the stream.
Yeah, we might get a copyright strike, but let's do it. Brian Parham.
I might be able to very quickly locate it for you.
Well, let's have a look now.
Because obviously I have been watching the man.
If you can give me a timestamp on the highlights, and I won't have to watch too much of it, and we can just watch that one play.
Yes.
Let
me just see. Sorry for the audio listeners here. We're
not the most exciting. Right, I've got a 5-minute 30.
Oh God, that's the one. Yeah, there it is. So the 5-minute 33 video.
Yeah.
You want to be going to 48 seconds in.
48 seconds in. Let's do this, viewers. We're going to skip through. We're going to be naughty. Right, let's go.
Uses legs, takes off.
Mute that. Right, hang on. 43 seconds in. Skip back. Okay, here we go. That's not it.
Yeah, get up to 48.
Here we go. This is a play coming up right now. Okay, circled. He's in the overhang. He's coming. Oh, cuts inside, lances through. Boom! In the face mask. Nice. Okay, but I like that. That's a nice
absolutely kills him. Kills the man.
Yeah, nice little wiggle on the run there. He cut inside the whether it was I don't want to low back and get another strike. Whether it was the tackle or the tight end trying to overset there, left a little gap. He made a little adjustment, cut back inside and hit the dude straight on his chin strap. Nice sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that I think that might have been the play that pushed me over the edge to sleeper in, because holy crap, like it was just knocked him out of his boots. Can he do that at the NFL? I don't know, but I'm really willing to take a chance on it. Like, he's just, right at the end of watching all of these really fun guys, to find a guy like this, and who's a ton of fun as well, is just really, really awesome. So, I don't know if we'll hear his name on day 3.
Undrafted, maybe he's an undrafted guy that makes them. Hey, James Harrison was that, right? James Harrison was the photo I've pulled up here, like the intensity in his eyes. Hey, he's got some James Harrison vibes. Maybe not the same upper body, but
certainly not. No,
but James Harrison was small, right? And that's why he went undrafted, right? And the intensity he played with, hey, made one hell of a play, won the Super Bowl against the Cardinals. So. Yeah, maybe Brian Parham. Maybe there's a chance here. What was your grade?
+1 on Brian Parham.
Nice, nice sleeper there. I like a deep one. Stephen's going to have fun making your graphic for that sleeper there. That's fun. I didn't record my sleeper on the thing. There we go. Red Murdoch sleeper. All right, nice, good show. Enjoyed that one. It was fun. Nice class.
Yeah, great class. Love this class. Really want the Steelers to come away with somebody. In this one,
we've got a little bit of disagreement as well.
Yes, some nice Harold Perkins / whoever else.
Jake Golday.
Just not just our Trotter. We both loved him.
We both loved Trotter.
Anthony Hill, that was it. Yeah. And Kyle Lewis potentially.
Yeah, Kyle Lewis. Yeah. So a bit of a swing. Nice, good. Thanks, Mark. Good show.
No worries. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who's stuck around to listen on the YouTube stream, and to the audio listeners. Sorry, audio listeners, if some of it, we're still trying to, get used to working with the YouTube and everything.
We're definitely gonna prioritize the audio. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
I hate it when you get the podcasts that go video and you've suddenly got loads of sound effects and things. You don't need any of that. It's the YouTube stream's still about the audio with just. It's about getting the live. It's about getting the interaction with the listeners. But just I'm wanting to get a picture up, reveal maybe some of the process that we go through behind the scenes in like the spreadsheets, the stats, the things we use. Just you can follow along. You don't have to watch it all the time. But if we're suddenly talking about something, then you can pick up your phone and have a look while you're doing the dishwasher or whatever it is you guys are doing. Tom, thanks, saying great episode as usual. Tom, an absolute stalwart in on every single one of these live streams. Thank you very much, Tom, for your support. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, love it, Tom. Thank you so much. Different Tom to who comes on the show. This is Tom Allen we're talking about.
Yeah, we're in some fancy leagues with Tom, and he's around.
We know some good Toms, don't we? That's for damn sure.
Yeah. No, thanks, man. Appreciate you, Tom. Number one fan for the live stream.
100%. Right, well, we've only got one group left, Gav.
Yeah.
Wide receivers next week. We've saved the wide receiver show for last. Are we mad?
Big group, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. But until next week, follow the show at UK Steelers Pod. Follow myself at Mesh NFL. Follow Gav at GM Boom Op. I think we've got a big group next week coming as well. So, yeah, definitely going to be a big show, the last one before the NFL draft hits. I imagine you guys will probably be doing some draft stuff in the week as well. Obviously, I'll see if I can dip into any of it, depending on where I am and what's happening. But I'm sure we'll all sort that out and get some stuff out in the meantime. But definitely we'll have some good post-draft analysis as well. But yeah, until then, we'll see you next week for the final pre-draft iteration with the wide receivers, and we'll see you then.
Yep, see you later. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Go Steelers.